We got Hendon and Tyler back on. Pleasure to have you. How was the weekend? How was the weekend off?
It was good. Chance to get healthy, hang out with the family a little bit, just relax.
Beautiful. It was great.
I love it. Well, we got Arian back on. He wasn't there last week, unfortunately, so we couldn't really get to the nuts and bolts of the arrangement that we're seeking to have here. So, do you guys have some questions for us?
We don't. No questions right now.
No questions at this time. Okay, I like it.
Yeah.
Arian, so they came on last week.
Mm-hmm.
They're looking to do some content for us. Maybe appear on the show every single week, do a little check-in, participate in the Tennessee Minute, that sort of thing. We told them that sounded like a great arrangement, and that we'd be looking to enter into a financial arrangement with both these very talented young men. I'm assuming that's okay with you.
Yeah, man. Depends on what we talking, you know. What y'all talking about? Y'all want to do negotiations on air?
Nah. I think that was
That's unprofessional.
That's unprofessional. I like it. But you got a big game come up this weekend. Kentucky. Where are we at? Where's the confidence meter at? This is a border battle.
Higher than it's been.
We feel good. We're ready to rock and roll. Everybody getting back healthy.
No cap.
Guys coming in smiling, just ready to work today for the for the work day. First day back.
Mm-hmm.
Ready to get to it.
Tyler, have you done any research on the Kentucky quarterback? Have you looked into his social media history?
No, I really don't even know who he is, to be real with you.
Okay.
Have you seen his TikToks?
I don't know his name. I'll be so real. I know he wears number 7 and he's a big quarterback.
I like that. You've been studying so much film, you only know him by the number, right? Is that the spin zone that we're going with?
No, for real, that's what it is. I mean, I don't really, to be honest, with nobody we play, I don't really get caught up in what people say they is and who they is. That shit really don't mean anything.
I like that a lot. I like that. So his name is Will, and he's big on TikTok. I'll tell you this: he makes coffee, and instead of creamer, he puts mayonnaise in his coffee. What are your thoughts on that?
No, for real.
This shit's for real.
Where he be eating the banana whole, like he wild. He wild boy. I ain't gonna lie.
Time out. My guy puts mayonnaise in his coffee.
Puts mayo in his coffee. Yeah.
Is he? He gotta be white. He's white.
Oh yeah. I don't want to comment. I don't know his family history, but he appears to be of Caucasian descent.
There's no way he's not. That's the weirdest
regardless
shit.
if he's white or black, he's tripping. No cap.
No, it matters, man.
He eats the banana like the peel of the banana, right?
Yeah, the whole banana.
Mm-hmm.
That's what.
He ate the banana peel.
The whole thing. Yeah.
He ain't doing that shit for sure. Nobody just be eating that shit.
That's what I'm saying. He doing this for the clout. No, I got to.
If he is, that's nasty. That's nasty.
Somebody,
Billy, is there any nutritional benefits? There probably is though. Is there any nutritional benefits?
It might be. But you know how many
people don't do that shit?
How many people's hands have been on those bananas?
That's a good point.
That's true. Fuck, that's true.
I haven't thought about that. Like the handling factor, they don't wash them before they sell them. And I don't think that Mayo coffee guy washes the banana before he eats it. That could be dangerous. There's probably
he's probably the type of guy to like say some weird shit in the pile, or if you like sack him.
Yeah. Just be on the lookout for that. He might say some weird shit.
He better not say no weird shit, bro. That'll
he might, bro. Like,
dude, he might fuck with you in the pile.
Now I'm gonna laugh. Y'all can ask anybody during the game. I'm like, we could joke on the field. Like I'm collected and I'm calm.
Yeah, you smile during plays. I remember Hines Ward used to laugh during plays.
Now that's how I am for real. Like after the play, like I'll joke with people on the other side of the ball. Like there ain't no issue.
What about you, Hendon?
I'm locked in. Killer mode.
For real.
Killer mode?
Yes, sir.
So we haven't talked about kind of what brought you here, Hendon. You played at Virginia Tech for a little bit?
Yeah. Up in the mountains of Blacksburg, Virginia.
Yeah, Blue Ridge Mountains. We were just talking about the Blue Ridges a couple weeks ago. I think that's a top 4 mountain range in the world.
Yeah, it's I'll say this, it's definitely some beautiful views up there. And the weather definitely gets cold up there for sure. But what brought me to Tennessee was the opportunity to showcase my talents and compete at a high level in the SEC. And also just talking to like some alum like Emmanuel Mosley, asking him what his time in Knoxville was like, and he was telling me he enjoyed it. And also talking to Bryce Thompson, who was on the team at the time before he declared, he was kind of giving me the rundown of the team and the camaraderie between everyone. So I like what I heard, and
also there are a couple women in Knoxville too, which is nice compared to Blacksburg.
Always nice to have a couple women around.
Yeah. Did you ever go top of the stairs? You got bunny ears right now. You ever go to Tots? You have one of their rail drinks there?
Never had a rail, but I went to Tots a couple times.
Fun fact, I got kicked out of Tots one time.
What you do? Stumbling around?
I don't know. It's all politics there sometimes. I think they were mad because I had all the women. Every woman at Virginia Tech was talking to me, so both of them were there, and they were saying, "Oh, hey, it's nice to meet you." And they're like, "Sorry, buddy, you got to go."
Oh man, they play haters.
Play haters at Tots. That's right.
It's good to hear. It's good to hear young cats use that term, man. I didn't think that shit was still around.
Yeah,
that's fine.
Yeah,
of course.
Yeah, for sure.
Hendon, I just realized that we have the same birthday.
Whoa.
Oh,
yeah.
When is that?
January 13th.
January 13th.
Yeah.
Birthday week, you guys.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to celebrate.
Exactly.
What we doing? We turning up.
We doing.
How old are you?
I'm not going to Tots, dog.
How old are you, bro?
Birthday. Say it again.
How old are you?
I'm 23.
Okay, we can turn up there.
Oh.
Yeah. What do you want for your birthday? Let's start planning it out.
What I want for my birthday. Yeah, some money is always
Some money for his birthday.
Okay.
I never really received a lot of presents on my birthday. From any birthday. So I mean.
Okay,
We're gonna hook you up, man. That was a sad ass fucking story.
I'm gonna be honest. That's just how it goes, man.
We're gonna start a GoFundMe. We're gonna get a whole. We're gonna get a gift. We're gonna get a gift box. Nah, I got you. Fuck that, I got you. It's free stuff. What you mean?
For sure.
Oh shit, Hendon, you're from Greensboro?
Yes, sir.
All right. Yeah, my family's from Greensboro too.
Okay.
It's a great town. Unfortunately, the ACC is moving out of Greensboro, I think.
That's tough.
Moving on to greener pastures. Stamey's Barbecue is the stuff of legends. You like Stamey's?
Yeah, I love Stamey's. Stamey's real good.
Stamey's is delicious. Big T, you got anything for the guys for the Tennessee Minute?
I mean, off this week, we got a big game this week, Battle for the Beer Barrel, even though they don't let us give that out anymore, which is bullshit.
Hey, I got a question. BT, is your voice gone from the Braves game?
Yeah, bro. It's tough night. Tough night. It's okay. We're going to get them tomorrow. When people are listening to this podcast on Tuesday, we're going to win the World Series today.
Talk to
them. But no, yeah, let's just go. I'm excited to beat the shit out of Kentucky.
Okay.
We're going to get back above 500. And
it's a big game. It's a big game. Getting above 500, it's a big deal.
What do you guys, Big T and you two, what do you guys have to say about the fact that Kentucky has become a football school and Tennessee's become a basketball school in recent years?
Well, listen.
Good question.
Kentucky is having the best 4 to 5 year run in the history of their football program. And they still they beat us last year, fine, whatever. They came in. They're obviously not ranked as highly right now after they lost on Saturday, but they came into Knoxville my senior year, and they were number 11 or 12 in the country, and we beat the shit out of them 24-7. Listen, we will always beat them in football. Now we beat them in basketball. It's what it is. We're going to win Saturday, just like we have, 30 out of the last 32, however many it is.
Wait, y'all play Kentucky on Saturday?
Yeah.
That was usually the last game of the season. Why did they move it up?
They got Vandy the last game of the season. We got Kentucky, Georgia, South Alabama, and Vanderbilt.
Wow, Big C, what's the reason for that? Kentucky was always the last.
Vandy bitched for a long time that we were their only game worth of shit, and so that they had to play it on the last week because that was their rivalry game. Whatever, good for them. So now we play Vandy on the last week instead of Kentucky, which is fine.
Gotcha.
Whatever.
Gotcha.
Doesn't sound like you're fine.
I mean, Vanderbilt. What are we doing talking about Vanderbilt football?
I mean, it sounds like both of these teams are the mud on your shoe. So I don't know why you care about playing either of them.
Well, Kentucky at least has some history to it. It's been played a bunch. It's one of the most played games in college football history. Vanderbilt's just I mean, come on.
And where's the game
You
this
just said
weekend?
they're in the middle of their best 5-year stretch ever. What history do they have?
Well, the game has historical context. It's been just because it's been played a bunch, but it's in Lexington Saturday.
It's in Lexington.
Saturday night.
That was my favorite place to play in the SEC.
Bro,
Yeah, I loved it.
I ain't never been up for
Good environment, and when it's real cold, like
It's always 25 degrees.
I wouldn't vouch for that, but that's a hell of a statement to make. But I think it was 2007. We had to beat them in order to get in the SEC championship, and we went to like 4 overtimes. Score was like 52-50. Shit was crazy, and it was cold. I couldn't feel my toes at the end of the game. That shit was one of my favorite moments in football. Period. That shit was dope.
Shit, that's lit.
For sure.
Yeah.
Shootout. That's what it sounded like.
Mm-hmm. 4 overtimes.
I think we need
What was
to.
your stats in that game?
Huh?
What was your stats in that game?
I went over $1, and I think I had like 90-some yards receiving.
What's a good day?
I'll find out. Hang on.
Is there any running back on the team right now that tends to overstate the value of his hands in the passing game? Just curious. Always demanding more catches.
Damn. You know what? Do this, my G. Call up Andre Johnson, right? One of the greatest receivers of all time, and ask
We
him.
all have his number, yes.
Ask him about my nigga. Tweet him or something. I'll get him on. Don't even worry about it. I'll get him on. I say, come on the pod. He ain't doing shit but being retired. I got you, bro. They gonna vouch for the hand. Any one of my quarterbacks, I'm telling you, dog. I had hands better than more than our receivers. I'm telling you, man.
I will say, Arian in that 07 Kentucky game, 27 carries for 118 yards. Also led the team with 9 receptions for 98 yards and a touchdown.
All right, pretty good.
He said pretty.
It's not bad. It really isn't bad at all.
But you understand, in a cold game like that, where the footing is bad,
25 degrees.
Every game in Lexington. Every game in Lexington is 25 degrees. Every time.
You do sound like you're talking about a game that took place in the late 1960s.
Yeah, you don't understand. Back where they had cleats made out of teeth.
All right. Would you guys have any questions for us? Anything that you want to get into? So,
hey, who is Hawk still the equipment manager there?
You know it.
Know it. Him and Frazier.
Do this. Tell him y'all be on my pod now.
Okay.
And tell him to send me some shit. Tell him I don't got no gear. I'm XL bottoms, L top.
Got you.
Send me somewhere I can tell him to send it to.
I got y'all. I'll text you my address.
Good day.
All right, bet.
No, the last place you're going to find this stuff is your house, Arian. You do not check your mail.
If he tell me it's sent, I'll check the mail. That's the issue. Is niggas they be sending shit and don't tell me that they send it, and it just piles up, and I don't have a reason to check mail. It's 2021. Why are you still sending paper? Grow up.
Thanks.
I think you're talking about FedEx. You'll get a FedEx or a UPS.
It depends on how he sends it. I don't know how Hawk gonna send it.
Yeah.
Shout out to Chicken Hawk. That's my guy, bro. He used to hold me down, man. That's my dude.
Man, for real.
Hawk's been there a while.
Yeah, he been there. Shit, way before me. So
He went on like 33 years right now.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, Hawk, man, that's my guy. Oh y'all, did y'all miss out on Joe, the video guy? Y'all probably got a new one, huh?
No, Joe's still here.
Joe still there?
Yeah,
Good dude, man. Hell of a golfer too.
still there. Joe here.
Do you guys know Smokey the dog?
Yeah, that's my little man. Taking him on walks and shit.
Really?
Nah, nobody knows that. They probably that's probably
Fucked up.
I got a funny ass
I was
story.
so
Would have been so cool.
I was so excited about
shit
you
out of
taking
you.
Smokey.
He's got a
on the
story. Let the man tell the story.
Nobody cares about dogs.
We was
bro.
walking down the ball walk. What game was this? The most recent one, I think.
Ole Miss.
Ole Miss. All right. So we walking down, and we at the front or whatever, and the dog is up there. But the dog starts squatting and shit. I'm like, what the hell? The dog takes a shit on the ground, and a lady steps in it while she's walking down the ball walk with us. And then everybody behind the dog keeps shitting on the ground and pissing. Everybody stepping all in it. It was wild. Bro.
He had a
But
rough
they-
day.
No
People-
cap.
people love dogs. They probably love that shit.
What is that?
I said people love dogs. They probably love that shit. It's just
Well,
like,
I was
so
gonna skip-
cute.
Never mind. You're telling me.
I love Smokey. I just think that Smokey's the best dog in college football. I don't think that's that wild of a statement. Like, name a better
At all.
dog.
Okay.
He's tough.
Certainly not Reveille, that French piece of shit from Texas A&M. I don't know.
Ugga's ugly as shit.
That's pretty.
Whoa, yeah, all right.
You straight?
All right.
man?
Yeah, well, they gonna come get
Oh,
it.
you're an Ugga stan, that dumbass fucking, you don't like that dog.
I love
All dogs are trash. All dogs are trash.
Uggo's trash.
I agree.
Uggo's a good guy.
I don't want to get the guys in trouble for just like being on a podcast where we're just slandering other SEC dogs, but I actually do kind of like that segment. We might have to bring that one back. Do you guys have any?
05, we went to LSU and they had do they still have it? They had a real fucking tiger in
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Mike.
Mike.
Mike anymore.
We'll be there next year. That's gonna be crazy.
Yeah, he still lives on campus.
It's a different
Does he?
Mike. It's a different Mike.
Got a whole
That
enclosure and
feels
shit.
like a bad idea. That feels like one
It's a
of those bad ideas.
horrible idea. Why do you motherfuckers have a tiger?
Especially in an area that's so susceptible to like crazy winds and like terrible hurricane. Like you can't just have a
big ass
tiger.
animal break out.
It's over.
Right.
What? It's a
He
killer.
taking 10 people with him. I ain't gonna lie. Somebody gonna have that stick on him though.
I had Coach O just shows up and Mike respects Coach O. He just snaps his fingers and Mike rolls over, lets him scratch his belly.
And his fingers ass gonna be dead.
I've seen
I
the
would be
enclosure.
surprised.
Mike's enclosure is actually really nice. It's better than any zoo I've ever seen.
That's what they say. They say they take great care of the little.
It's
It should.
It's a. He really ain't even supposed to be over.
Yeah, he's not. He's not at all. Like,
Okay.
Sure enough.
do you guys have any recommended topics for us to cover on this podcast? Like, what sort of shit interests you? If in your free time, if you get like free time to look something up on the internet or do some reading or listen to a podcast, what kind of shit do you guys like to listen to or read?
honestly, me and Tyler talk about this all the time. Well, we really just been interested on all these majestic animals, like the animals that are deep in the sea that no one knows about.
Okay.
Like the one with the light on their head.
Tyler trying to act like he don't want to talk about that.
Yeah.
He watch Animal Planet every day.
I ain't gonna lie. I do watch OD Animal Planet and like animal videos, like damn near every day. But yeah.
Don't act like you're too
we
cool
talk
for
about
this
whatever.
conversation, Tyler, because everybody loves majestic animals.
Okay. But we can talk. I can talk about whatever. You could bring any conversation. I'm gonna have something to say.
What do you think of Havana syndrome?
You said what?
Havana syndrome? Have you heard about this?
I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
You want to tell them what Havana syndrome is?
So, like, they think that U.S. government workers in Cuba are getting radio waves beamed into their head, and it's messing with them, giving them concussion-like symptoms. So,
I'm gonna do some research on that, and we can spitball about it.
Yeah.
No, it's cap.
It's cap. Yeah, I ain't even gonna.
We think it might be just a case of people being bored at work and they want to feel like they're James Bond. So they're like, oh yeah, the Russians are firing X-ray beams into my head. I swear to God, I'm sick. Oh, I want to get some feedback from you guys because a big part of this podcast and the culture of this podcast has a lot to do with frogs because it's kind of like our unofficial mascot. It's like our Smokey would be a cool frog. And Billy's been hard at work in the last 30 minutes designing a new frog for us for a logo. So can you hold it up to the camera and be honest, be brutally honest? What do you think? No, get closer to the camera, Billy.
I'm not gonna lie. If it's terrible, I'm gonna just.
Yeah, no.
Say it.
Yeah.
We're gonna let you know it's bad.
I want the truth. What do you think about that frog?
Yeah, it's just bad.
That's horrible. I didn't even see that.
Yeah,
Did you
yeah.
send that to the group?
He got teeth.
One leg longer than the other.
Why is
Well,
Paul
Billy,
so sharp?
We got a cool mock-up of merch
Like a
earlier today.
Pokemon.
Dude, Billy, your frog is
someone
getting roasted.
stepped on
Right
it.
now.
You can go ahead and take that away from the screen.
You like Cookie Monster in the face.
It's ugly.
We got
No, it looks like a crab went to an all-you-can-eat buffet.
we got some cool merch mock-ups earlier today, and there was one with a frog that looked awesome, and Billy's like, no, wrong frog. We can't use that frog.
red-eyed tree frogs are common core ass frogs.
You want
It did look very Rainforest Cafe.
Yeah,
merch.
that looks
people
like
love the rainforest.
yeah,
Cafe.
but that's like front
So
of
they
like
don't even exist anymore.
that's like
Yeah, they
a
do.
front of the text like of
What?
a math textbook frog.
That's fake news.
Rainforest Cafe in Nashville. Right
Yeah.
next to the little.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
There's tons
in
of
the mall.
rainforest
look,
cafes.
look at that frog. What do you think about that frog, guys?
I'm not gonna lie to you, that's hard.
Let me see. I can see.
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody loves the red-eyed tree frog.
dude, my
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. That's way better than yours.
But
I'm not
mine,
really.
I did that in 10 seconds. It's based on look, Google African bullfrog right now. Real quick.
Okay, but
I
that's
know
not
what
what
it
we're
looks
talking
like
about. We're
looking
talking about the
I know,
picture
but
you
we're
drew.
trying to get that ambiance.
Okay,
Say that one more time.
ambience, the ambience of an
Ambience.
African bullfrog.
Yeah.
Ambiance. This is like if
I see why he made him lost sharpest.
See, it is a cool frog, but
I think that should be our frog, though. We're not red-eyed tree frogs is like Algebra 1 textbook shit.
I know the textbook that you're referring to, and you're right.
Yeah,
It has that.
very accurate.
It's got that.
Yeah,
frog
you know
on
what I'm
it.
saying? Like we're not some Algebra 1 textbook type shit. Like we need something. Like we need a macrodosing frog.
we
Okay.
need the frogs that you can lick and trip balls off of. Those are the kind of frogs we need represented on this show.
Colorado river toads.
What are those?
Yes.
I don't know why
That's
he
the
know
ones
that
they
off the top
lick.
of his head, though.
Oh, okay.
I don't know why he just spit that out like, oh yeah, I was with them last year.
Oh no, Billy just is an encyclopedia of frog knowledge.
Yeah, too much Animal Planet does it to you.
Mm-hmm. Well, good luck, guys. We're
Yes, sir.
rooting for you guys. Fuck Kentucky.
I'm gonna sell that
Amen.
frog sketch as an NFT.
You'll show them.
Just to show you guys how
Nobody's gonna buy that
misconstrued you
shit.
are. Watch
Nobody's
it.
gonna buy that shit. I will be surprised.
Actually, I will sell this picture of a frog as an NFT.
I take that
And
back.
the bear.
Didn't somebody buy pictures of your feet once?
Yeah,
Yeah, so I take that back. I think you just got stands out there. Don't buy anything you put out. Like never
yeah.
mind.
No, but that was different.
What? This freak bull.
Yo, so no. So when the NIL came out, you know, I bet a bunch of your teammates secretly made OnlyFans that you just don't know about, and they're selling their pics. So like, it's very commonplace.
How,
Each his own, man.
What do y'all got? What do y'all got? An OnlyFans?
Hell no.
You're not really trying to go after that NIL. You gotta use your likeness to make money,
I ain't gonna
boys.
sell myself. I ain't going.
Let me find out y'all niggas twerking.
Stop playing. I can't.
You stepping our gangster.
What?
Nah, bro. Yeah, some like random dude.
we get
DM me.
we
and
get
I
it,
was
Billy.
like, that's fucking hilarious. Let's see who will actually pay
was
me
funny.
for this. And it was like a joke, but it went too far.
He did it
'cause
as a
actually
joke.
Started sending me money.
It was totally. He was kidding.
Yeah,
So you were still sending him the pics.
but it was a
though, right?
joke, bro. It was just, I was
Ironically,
literally
yeah.
my foot. Like I thought I was fucking. I thought I was messing with him, and then I got paid.
Oh, he was messing with you for real.
But who really
He
loses
was
there?
really fucking with
I
you.
think he liked it for real.
I mean, if you could like.
he gave you like $100, didn't he?
Yeah, if you could just like, dude, I'm not. Yeah, now you're changing your tune.
No, it's getting worse.
No, he thinks that you should have
exotic
held out for more than
You know
that.
what this is like, Billy? You know what this is like? You see
What?
Dodgeball where that dude, he kept paying that one dude to shine his
Yeah.
tire just that one time. He was rubbing his belly button. That's you, man. You.
I don't even remember that scene.
Hey, Billy, money's
No.
money.
Hey, it
I'm
was
gonna send it to
it
the
was a
chat. I'm gonna
bit.
send it to the chat.
It was a bit, but
It was all a bit.
hey,
don't worry about it.
It started making too much money, and then I was like, this isn't funny anymore.
You let the bread pile up before you said no more.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
there was only one picture ever distributed, and people were paying for a subscription, and that was all they got. Then we cut
I
it
will
off.
pay $50 for a picture of Billy's foot to resurface on the internet.
So now you're buying Billy's feet pics.
I'm
Yeah.
buying it.
Ironic.
So who's-
I'm buying it and we're gonna
who's-
post it on our pages.
He's buying the rights to the picture.
the rights.
Yeah,
to
I'll
the-
sell it as an
Right.
NFT.
Got it.
It's a tax write-off.
Yeah.
That's not a text right out there.
What they look at him like you stupid as hell.
All right, guys. I'll let you go. You got a lot of work to put in this week, I'm sure.
Okay.
Maybe not. Just have fun. Hope you guys are having fun in Knoxville. Where's the if I'm going to Knoxville and I'm looking for like the best local spot to go and drink a beer, what would you say that would be?
I'm about 21.
Good answer. That was a test.
All right.
Gotta say, I honestly couldn't tell you. I mean, I'll be in the house.
Yeah, I think if you could ask anybody on the team who the lamest dudes after the game, it's definitely me and Hendon.
So
Like, we ain't went out one time after a game. Like, okay.
Uh-huh.
That's wild.
that's why
We
they're on our
do.
podcast.
Yeah.
So what?
No, it's cool.
Arian, when you were there, did you go out after games?
Every time.
So we got the two. So we got the two lamest.
It's definitely lit, but I
We
just
got-
be tired. But
We got the two lamest dudes on our podcast on the team.
Nah, we not lame
Come on,
now.
come
We
on.
just
Come
No, fuck that.
yeah,
Billy.
we handle
nah,
business.
you got to think though. Damn near every home game we done had them at 7:00, so we ain't done till like midnight. We got to be back up at 9:30.
Bro, I remember we used to take naps and then go out. We would just start the night like at 1. But this is the time to do that. This is the time, because when you get 20s, late 20s, my age, like none of that shit is appealing. It's not fun. Like fun is like a glass of wine and a movie. Like that's fun. Like your age, like let's party. I mean, be responsible. Don't do nothing crazy. Be responsible. But leave that shit up. This is the time to do it.
Arian's corrupting the youth. Arian Foster tells University of Tennessee students to go out and party harder. You're not damaging your bodies. No,
after games,
damaging your body.
You're prescribed. You have to watch Animal Planet just the whole night.
That's Billy's prescription. All right, Dr. Billy, thank you guys for joining us. And good luck this week. Stay healthy. Stay safe. Beat up Kentucky. Can't wait to talk to you guys again on Monday, on a Victory Monday. Do you get Monday off if you win? How does that work?
You get it out.
I mean, we come in for
we're gonna be there regardless.
A nice lift, a swift run, and that's all. Meetings on the back end of the day.
All right, a nice lift and a swift run. I like that. That sounds fun.
Right.
All right, we'll talk to you guys Monday. Good luck.
All right, y'all.
Good. Appreciate y'all.
See you
guys.
That was the Tennessee Minute. Love the Tennessee Minute. Love talking with the guys. Love chopping it up with Tyler and with Hendon. Thank you to them for coming back on. We have some very, very special news right now. If you're in the New York area or if you have plans to come to the New York area, Tuesday, November 16th, we're going to be doing a live show, Macrodosing live show. Tickets are going to be very, very limited, so I expect that they'll probably sell out not long after we put the link up there.
Mm-hmm.
So when are we putting that link up?
So if you guys are listening to this the day it releases, so these will go on sale Tuesday, November 2nd at 5 p.m. So if you're listening to this on your commute home, you might be able to already get them. I'll put out a link on all of our socials and everything tomorrow to get them. They'll be $25. It's going to be at Lucky Jack's in the Lower East Side if you're in the New York City area, or if you're our rival podcast fan, Son of a Boy Dad. That's where they had their live show a couple weeks ago. So it's down there. It's going to be super fun. Arian and Coley are coming in too. So it's going to be the whole gang in person. And we're going to have, giveaways. Big T is going to...
Don't say the segment, but it's going to be a great segment.
Yeah. Big T is going to be there. And we'll all be there hanging out. So I'll put out the link, but go quick if you hear this because they will probably sell out soon. Be a very intimate setting.
I love it. Okay, Lucky Jack's link is going up. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a live show. We're essentially going to sit down, talk with you guys.
Shoot the shit. Have a good time. You'll be able to say hi to us. You'll be able to debate Big T in person maybe. I don't know. We'll work something out.
Good luck.
Good luck, yeah. Like lambs to the slaughter. He's going to be mowing down libs.
That might need to be. Can we make that a T-shirt or a sticker or something? Just for me, just print one. I just need one.
Just one merch.
Yeah.
the Minotaur of Minos. It's Big T getting fed libs.
It's just mowing down the libs, one fact at a time.
Yeah. Bring facts. You have to bring facts if you're going to come debate against Big T. Bill, are you excited?
I'm very excited.
Yeah, it's going to be, again, very limited supply. So be ready at 5 p.m.
I'm gonna be on wine. I'm not gonna be Ocean's episodes faded, but I'm gonna be feeling good. Ocean's episode, I did way too, and it's partially your fault, PFT, because when I got to the studio, I was lit, but I was tolerable. But then you gave me the vodka, and the vodka took it over the top. I was out of there.
I'll never forget. We hadn't gone to the studio yet. You and Billy got into an hour-long debate about capitalism out in the like main area of the office. And I just looked at PFT and I was like, bro, he's like really drunk. And we still got to go do the whole show.
That was amazing.
We'll have a
classic.
We'll have a good time.
Yeah, there'll be a meet. So it's at 7 p.m. on a Tuesday. There'll be a meet and greet before to hang out with us. Angry Orchards. The bar that we're going to doesn't sell Angry Orchards. I'm going to make it my personal mission.
Bullshit.
I know. I'm going to make it my personal mission to bring Angry Orchards enough for Big T, and the whole gang. But
Coors Light.
I'll be drinking Coors Light.
Mountains are blue.
Yep. All right. We'll see you guys there.
Yeah.
Lucky Jack's.
Also,
Buy
the
tickets.
apples are red.
Apples are red and the mountains are blue.
Tuesday the 16th. It'll be a fun time. I'm glad that Arian's coming into town. We'll also be able to tape a show, an actual show for Macrodosing. With Arian in person, which I'm looking forward to. And I think Donnie's coming into town soon.
Oh, sweet.
So we'll have to get Donnie to do the China episode with us at some point soon.
Ooh, yeah.
All right. Well, that's going to be a lot of fun.
Woohoo.
PFT, how do you feel about your Washington football team saying, fuck the bye week.
Yeah, I feel great about it. I don't know. Like, nothing surprised me. You could honestly tell me anything about the Washington football team right now. Anything. You could make up whatever story you want about Dan Snyder, that he literally kidnapped 101 Dalmatian puppies to make a coat out of them. And I would say, yep, that sounds about right. There's nothing you can tell me that would shock me. So
what kind of revolt would happen, Arian, if your coach was just like, you know what, we're so bad, we're not going to actually have our bye week?
What does that mean, not have a bye week?
Like what was a traditional bye week? Because whatever that is, the Washington football teams go, like, their bye is this upcoming Sunday, so they don't have a game, but they're practicing as if they do all week.
Oh, that's the dumbest shit you can do. That is absolutely the dumbest shit you. Are they doing that?
Yeah,
I think they're having like one practice.
I think it's normal to, have like, so like say you have a bye week, see. Well, there's a couple ways you could do it. You could get the early part off or the latter part off. Usually people like the latter part off, and then like, yo, we'll see you on Sunday, or we'll see you on Monday.
right.
And like you'll come in, Monday, get a nice run lift in, maybe Tuesday get some meetings in, maybe a walkthrough, and then they just leave you alone usually. But guys, you just stay around if they're into it, come through, get some treatment, whatever. But if you're mandating cats beater, like, that's just a bad precedent to set. Because a lot of cats like to go home to their families. It's not some college shit. That's like, you can't they grown. You can't do that.
It's also the first year there are 17 games, not 16. So he's just saying no bye week. We're running this shit all the way through January.
That's what I'm telling you, it's the dumbest shit you can do, man. Are they practicing like for real?
That's what he said.
I think they're having a practice.
Who
Washington will not have the bye week off per the team. They'll practice Wednesday afternoon. So it sounds like they have one practice Wednesday afternoon.
Is that Dan Snyder calling that, or is that
That's Rivera.
Rivera.
Wow, he's such a good coach too. I don't understand. He's
Is he?
He has longevity in the league. He's coached so he knows players, he knows the bodies, he knows what they want. This sounds like some punishment shit, like, and that never works. Anytime, listen, if you're a coach out there, anytime your players are performing like shit, more practice, and that kind of like whip them into shape is never it's just gonna divide everybody. It's never like, if more than nice, like, yo, give them space. Like, look, we need to step back from this. Let everybody rejuvenate. And sometimes you just don't have the team to win, and you micromanaging everything. It's just gonna make everything that much more worse. You got people hate you. At least I would rather go down with a coach that's gonna ride with us rather than like, because when you're doing the whole we need to practice more, you're saying we're fucking up. That's what you're saying. You're saying it's not me as a coach. You might even say we all need to get better, but like, you're saying they're fucking up, so they need to practice more, rather than just saying, hey man, sometimes the ball don't go our way. Shit happens. We making a lot of mistakes, but we can correct it. You know what I'm saying? There's ways to cover your tracks. This shit sounds like you just on some like bully shit, and that shit never works. Never goes good ever.
What do you think about Dan Campbell's approach to being 0-8? He just goes out to every press conference, sort of really rides with his team, but they keep coming up short.
I love it. You gonna always have your team like that. I don't know how he is in the locker room, but like, if you're doing that in public, odds are he has his team. And if you have your team, at the very least, what happens if you have players willing to ride for you? Like, nah, and that keeps the synergy in the locker room. So you may be say this is your rebuilding year, right? What you have is you'll have your core players be like, nah, coach is gonna ride for us when it's down. When we down, he gonna ride for us, rather than, cats throwing. I've had coaches throw me and throw our team under the bus in the and it's just like, all that does is, man, fuck that dude. Like, fuck that dude. If you can't stand up to some questions from the media, then how I know you got my back for real? You don't. Like, and so like, you gonna that's the best way to do it, is do that. Take responsibility. Like, we all going down, but this is the squad, and this is how we ride. It's really some life shit. It ain't nothing to do with football. That's just some life shit. Like, when shit goes bad, ride with who's there with you. Go to war with them. And if we take an L, we take an L, but at least we go out together.
What do you think about a coach like Urban Meyer, who after the game on it was the game on Sunday against the Seahawks, he was like, well, we had a great week of practice, so I don't really know what happened. I thought we were going to come out here and play a lot better. That's just code for him being like, I didn't do anything wrong. My players sucked, right? When a coach is like, our practice was great. I ran a great week of practice, and then we just came out flat today.
Low key, that's what it sounds like. But I think he's lost his locker room already, so I don't think there's any redeem for that.
I think he's lost the world. I don't think that he has. There's nobody out there that's defending Urban Meyer, which is rare because usually you get the contrarians who are like, you know what it is? It's PC culture that's ruining Urban Meyer because now a man, like it's against the law to be heterosexual in America and finger a stranger's butthole in a bar with a picture of you and your wife on the wall. But we don't have anybody that's even taking it to that side.
Nah, I thought Tebow was still riding for him.
Oh yeah, well Tebow was like, I think he went with love the sinner, hate the sin. Which is that's as close as Tim Tebow will ever come to saying "fuck you." It really is.
Does he cuss?
No, I don't think so.
Tebow don't cuss?
It's actually a good question because he definitely. I feel like he cussed when he was playing occasionally.
Is he pulling like a Philip Rivers and saying like, "Dang nabbit"?
God dang it! Oh no,
dang it! Andrew Luck move.
Wait, Arian, we got to bring this up. Derrick Henry just got ruled out for the year. He's getting foot surgery. He's got a Jones fracture. Might be able to come back late in the playoffs. I don't know. I've had that surgery before myself, and as a professional athlete, I can tell you it takes a while to get your body back into game shape, even after the 8 weeks. I'm still not back in game shape from when I had that surgery. So Derrick Henry's out for the
7 years ago.
Yes, yeah, exactly. There's another running back out there. All pro, one of the best of his era, has ties to the state of Tennessee. Arian Foster, if you got a phone call from Mike Vrabel today, would you want to play?
No, I would ask him for sideline passes on the, so I could watch. I'll come watch. Vrabel's my dude. He coached at Houston when I was there, but fuck no, nigga, hell no.
You're not even taking the call?
I'll take the call because it's Mike. But I was like, how you doing, man? As a family, right? Good? Cool. I wouldn't have to be doing that, though. I have no... Bro, I worked out the other day. So I started to get a little puffy. You could kind of see it in my neck and my face. It's starting to get better because last week, I ate hella good. I worked out every single day, sometimes twice a day. I'm trying to get back because I don't like being fat during Christmas, right? No disrespect to fat people, but like I don't like feeling like pudgy. I don't like feeling pudgy while I'm about to like be purely gluttonous. I don't like that feeling. And so like I want to tighten back up for the holiday. So I'm gonna tighten up for Thanksgiving, and then Thanksgiving I'm going ham on the turkey. And then for Christmas, for all December, same thing, I'll tighten up. And then so the other day I was working out and bro, my calves are sore as shit. And all I did was like run 2 miles. It's just the body ain't there no more, man. I'm so happy that it's not, because it's just not anything that I don't need. My mindset isn't even close to where that. Oh my god, I can't like the shit I used to do. I used to wake up at 5:30 in the morning and do a crazy workout, go to sleep, work out at like a little afternoon, get another nap, and then work out at night. Like no, I have no interest in that. It's disgusting.
It
hurts thinking about it.
You think that Billy's faster than you right now?
It's possible. I doubt it, but it's possible.
It's called 50 yards.
You don't understand how long that is. That's a long race.
How fast could you? Well, all right, let's call it a 40 then. What was your 40 time, Arian?
He's honestly.
My 40 coming out was really bad, but there's a reason as to why. You want to hear the story?
I think you've told it before. You had a hamstring or something, right?
Yeah, so I pulled my hamstring in the Senior Bowl, and the combine was 23rd of February. Couldn't do that, and my pro day was March 11th, and it was a grade 2, so it was really bad. So I was still hobbling, and I couldn't really. But the scout convinced me for some reason, like, we got to get a time on you. And so like I ran like a 4.7, that's not my 40 time. Mm-hmm. And I hate that's what I ran, because like you'll see like blogs and shit. They're like, Arian Foster ran a 4.7. You can make it in the NFL. Like, bro, I didn't run a 4. There's film of me walking off like on safeties that ran 4.4s and 4.3s, bro. Like I'm not saying I ran a 4.3, but like I could get it. Like I wasn't slow, but I hate that. That's what happened.
If you Google your 40 time, it says 4.68.
Yeah, and I wasn't 4.6. But I was walking like I used to train with cats who run 4.4, and I used to outrun them. Like running, like I trained on the track, so running was what I did. Mm-hmm. And so I hate that. That's what it. Like you guys, all my trainers, or even cats that I train with. Like that's not my time. I hate I get associated with that shit too.
Well, if you smoke me,
if you're gonna be a slow running back, you have to have great hands, and so that's I think you're able to. Yeah, no, you've talked me into it. You've talked me into it. I believe you.
You know what? This live show. you're just gonna have to shoot me a 30. Just shoot me the fair one.
I was gonna say, yeah, we haven't even
On
discussed
stage.
it. Are you ready to beat the shit out of Big T next time you see him?
Matter of fact, Big
I forgot about that.
I'm out. I got my mentions flooded with the other day talking about some. You could whoop me.
Did you watch the clip? Did you ever actually watch it?
At the end of the clip? You said I would never fight Arian.
We were on the live stream watching the World Series. Somebody said, what would happen if you fought Arian? And I jokingly said, listen, Arian, obviously a great professional athlete, has every physical advantage you could have on me, but, and then I said, I just fucking want it more, which I thought they didn't think now is very funny. And then they took that and put a clip out, and all of a sudden in the Macrodosing group chat, I get a text from Arian that says, I'll slap the shit out of Cuz. And I was like, bro, I never, like, did you watch the clip at all?
No,
Of course not.
I said I'd slap you. Did I say I'd slap you?
I said, I will slap the shit out of Cuz. That's what it said.
I do.
Your Cuz.
Big T. I mean, Big T does have that Tyson Fury frame though. He's got the movement in his shoulders and the length. I actually could see him being quite.
No, I didn't say slap. I said I'll beat the shit out of Cuz.
Okay.
Yeah.
Slap is a little more disrespectful.
It is.
You understand how disrespectful that is.
Okay.
I wouldn't disrespect you like that, Big T. I would just regularly beat you.
Okay. I appreciate that.
I could see Big T going psycho though. Like if
So
he could go to a dark red place where his skin just starts to glow, and he hulks up, and then he just blacks out, and he goes nuts. Doesn't remember it.
I hear that. Here's the thing. One, I'm too old to fight like that. Two, if this was to go down, right? Here's how it would actually happen. I could box, like box, right? Streetwise and like formally, like I got it in, right? But I wouldn't do that. I'm trained in jiu-jitsu, and so I really know jiu-jitsu. And so like I would not even box with you. I'd probably take you to the floor and choke you out.
Please tell me, Arian, please tell me that you would jiu-jitsu him where you'd crawl at him on your back like the crab walk. That's the beautiful thing about jiu-jitsu, right? Is like I'm very comfortable on my back. So I could literally have somebody rushing me and I'll sit down real calm and I'll win. I promise. I know that's the funniest thing about jiu-jitsu is that like you have a lot of guys who will just like get on their back and be like, come on. Like, let's tussle.
I have a good back game. I have a good back.
It's very so there was a I saw something that they were teaching a police like a town's police that they were teaching them jujitsu, and someone was like, what are they gonna do, crawl at dudes on their back?
No, they actually should. The reason why they should is because it teaches you how to de-escalate a situation in a way that's like, it's like violent, but it's not deadly. Like you can literally choke people out and not kill them. And you can so a lot of the times, like when cats are struggling on the floor and like Derek Chauvin or Chauvin or whatever his name is, for example, like he had his knee on George Floyd's neck. There's a very simple way to subdue somebody if you're trained in it. I'm pretty sure he was trained. He might just be a piece of shit. I don't know, but there's an easier way to do it to de-escalate those situations, where you could just hold people. You could just literally hold people and they can't get away. There's a whole bunch of fight compilation videos like on YouTube when you look up like people who got in street fights who know jujitsu, and you can see just how calm they are on their face because you train every single day. You train for this, and so people don't know what to do. Like they struggle, and you're just like really calm and you know what you're doing. It would help our polices a lot.
Wasn't this didn't Andrew Yang run on this? Like, I'm going to teach all the cops karate.
I have no idea.
I think he's still jiu-jitsu.
That's such a cool tagline for your campaign, though.
Teach all the cops karate.
Well, you know who actually. So there was a guy who's currently running for New York City mayor, Curtis Sliwa, who had the New York Guardians, who he trained them in the 80s when New York was just like a hellhole. He trained all these dudes in karate, and they'd roam the subways just like vigilantes, and they'd straight up do karate on people.
Yeah, I don't know if we need that, but there's got to be a middle ground there.
It couldn't hurt.
The elections, the day this comes out, so New York City mayoral vote.
Who you voting for?
I don't know. The guy who taught everyone karate sounded pretty.
Billy has had this take percolating for about a year and a half. He's like, I think I think next week I'm going to endorse Curtis Sliwa. But he doesn't know anything about his politics. He just
I know a lot about his politics.
No, you just know that he wears a beret and then he goes around like doing taekwondo on muggers.
No, he actually is like New York through and through. He like actually
give me a policy he's espousing that you enjoy.
He literally
he's New York. I don't know if you heard that, Arian. Through and through.
Very, very good policy. Very good legislation when you read it.
I mean, his policy points is he wants to clean up New York and help, but he does it. He actually is on the ground. There's like, like he's very, he will walk the subway. He was like on the ground in New York City, like trying to help out situations in a very like non-polarizing way. Like he actually like cares about.
I said, give me a policy, bro.
Okay, I haven't read his
fighting people on the street. What didn't you hear?
Karate, and he wants to clean up garbage. What the fuck do you want from me, man?
That's actually,
and he's actually got some great stuff on homeless people and how to like help a lot of these mentally disturbed individuals who have problems and help them get the help they need. That's one of his big running points.
You don't have to be mayor to like do karate and ride the subway and protect people. He's done that on his own without being mayor for a long time. And from what it sounds like, has he done a good job? I'm hesitant to say anything positive or negative about this guy because I really have no idea what I might be stepping into.
He's like a broke Batman.
Guardian Angels. He's the guy who wears the red beret, and he's the head of the Guardian Angels. He's always on New York One. Like he's just like always been a figure in New York politics.
Has anyone ever run for mayor of New York and not said like one of the first three things was they're going to clean up the streets? Like that's always New York's running, like one of the tent poles is like, I'm going to clean up this goddamn city.
This guy's I like Curtis Sliwa.
We know that.
But I think his biggest mistake was running as a Republican, though. He should have ran as an independent.
Yeah, I don't know anything. You haven't enlightened us to his policies. I think just as a general rule, even though we might disagree a lot on this podcast, I've come to realize this about politics, and that's that way too many people care about the people that are your politicians. They root for politicians and they root for their team and their people. When in the end, I think we all want like the same results and a lot of the same policies. People should feel as dedicated to the policies that they want. They should feel 10 times more dedicated to the policies that they want than rooting for a guy that got elected that you like feel some weird sports team like emotion for. And then when that guy fucks up and all of a sudden, he's getting fired for sexual harassment, you can no longer identify as a Cuomo-sexual. Like we should not ever put ourselves in that position where we hold any politician to up to a pedestal, because here's a newsflash. You probably suck if you're running for politics. Chances are pretty high that you're just somebody that likes to be in the spotlight, likes to have power. You don't really care about stuff. Just people should take all the energy that they waste rooting for politicians, instead root for policies that they like. That's PFT's soapbox.
I've talked to Barstool Trent about this a lot. Like, it should almost be a league. Like the second you announce you're running, you're out. You don't get it. You're done. You're too self-important. Like your ego is too inflated. Like you're not the guy for the job. There should almost be like like Billy would want, a team of like roving vigilantes who is like hand selecting people just based off of like good deeds and ideas that they have. The second you announce like, oh, I'd like to be president. No, you're not. You're out.
Did you be selected?
Yeah, like people who are just like actually doing good in the world. It's like, hey, you know what? You need a bigger role in society.
Who would you pick to do that right now?
That's the problem with the plan. I don't even know how you'd get to the point where we're like what kind of Skynet type watching every move every person makes. Like it's a real slippery slope. I'll grant you that, but it feels like it needs to be more merit based than right now. It's just like who talks better shit in 30 minutes. That's how we're deciding.
That's my issue with politics now. Is like one, it's like extremely polarized, and politics have always been polarized, but now it's like being infused with social media. So it's personality. It's much like rap, right? If you really, really enjoy rap, chances like, well, if you like the core of it, like the poetry aspect of it, and the nuance of the musicianship, right? chances are like your kind of favorite artists aren't going to be like well known. They're going to be really underground because rap now is like it's a caricature, right? So like if you have to almost like caricaturize yourself, and you have to kind of like perform and act. You have to be real animated, and that's like politics is like that now. You have to create a persona, and that persona has to meet, you know. And it's like, yo, I just be boring. Like that's what I've really learned about politics these last couple of years. Anything is like the truth is boring. The truth is boring. Like COVID, for instance, right? The data, when you mull over it, it's fucking boring. But like that shit is never gonna make any headline or any TikTok or any clip because it's just fucking boring. And so you actually have to like pour into it, and like nobody wants to do that. So we like highlights, and so we like highlighted people and highlighted things, and it's slowly making us the dumbest, smartest thing to ever walk the universe. It's fucking fascinating.
Mm-hmm. To answer your question, Khalid, I would select Joe Biden. I think he's the best person in the country to be leading us. I think if you look at everything he's got going on, that guy, I think we can all agree Joe Biden is the best we have to offer as a nation.
Big T agrees too.
I saw CNN yesterday was talking shit about his approval ratings. When CNN is down bad, saying that you're down bad as a Democrat, that's a tough place to be.
Why can't Big T, instead of just like having to pile on CNN, why can't we all agree that CNN does not control what everybody believes? See, I feel like people on the right tend to overestimate how much
they have an agenda.
People on the left care about what CNN says.
Well, I didn't say anybody cares what CNN says. I said they have an agenda to protect.
What news station does not have an agenda?
Right.
There isn't one, but
correct.
So why single out CNN?
Well, because I'm saying the agenda that they have, even they have to be like shit, like this guy.
Well, this might be a hot take, but I will venture to say nowhere in the rest of our lives will a president have a positive approval rating.
Mm-hmm.
That may be true.
We just live in such a polarized state that there's no way you're going to get uniform consensus on somebody doing correct things, especially, and presidents don't really do that much. They just have so many moving parts to government. So it's like, it's all performative, and you score points politically, like Ted Cruz or Marco Rubio. You score points politically when you oppose anything that the opposition does, and vice versa, right? Is it vice versa, vice or whatever? It's the same way on the other side. Anything anybody does on the right that you oppose, you score political points for. So it's a lot of posturing, and so it just makes no point to like. And I'm not even a centrist, right? I'm as far left as you can get, but it's just I can see the polarization and how toxic it is. Like I like to have policy discussions, like actual policy, but not talking points. If that makes sense.
This is what we were talking about. Well, I was, and they were listening and nodding their heads. Everything it's just a bad faith argument countered by another bad faith argument, and we're stuck in this like revolving door of just like, well, I have to counter your bad point with our bad point to make us look good, and it just never stops. Like we've never gotten off that carousel of bad faith argument on both sides.
Yeah, I feel like direct democracy might be the answer, where it's just like everybody vote on policy.
The thing
just
is,
cast your vote for it.
Also,
but nobody reads policy.
That's
like,
a good point. Yeah,
it's just like I think I've mentioned this before, but this was Socrates' critique on democracy. Socrates' critique was you can have democracy, but what you'll have is if you have an uninformed public, then they're going to elect uninformed officials, and that's exactly here we are. There's probably a handful of people in Congress that really understand the issues like that. Like I really believe that.
Are you telling me that former Texas Tech and Auburn head coach Tommy Tuberville should not be a U.S. senator?
I'm not saying I don't even know his politics, right? But if he's done his due diligence, that's fine. But if he does his due diligence and he has an opposite worldview, I have my problems with Republicans, but I would venture to say the odds are he just did that because of his prowess, right? Because of his prestige and what he did before. It would surprise me if I sat down with him. We had like policy discussions and he had some depth to him. Like, I mean, any senator would, honestly.
Yeah, Tommy Tuberville, I don't think he's a real policy wonk. I think he's The man couldn't even win the Big 12. I don't think he's going to be able to.
You know what the big story about him is,
legislation.
right? That his opponent ran during his campaign ads was the story about how I think it was when he went from wherever to Auburn, maybe Ole Miss to Auburn.
I think it was when he maybe went to Cincinnati.
Yeah, it was when he was switching from one job to another. He was at dinner with a recruit, got the phone call that he got the other job, and left the dinner with the recruit just sitting there. And I think, if I remember the story correctly, he called him like the next day and was like, "Hey, do you want to come to Cincinnati now?"
Jesus.
Yeah, why wouldn't you just stay at the dinner and do like, "Hey, I still want you as a player,
Exactly.
but it's not going to be at this school."
Right.
Avery's back. Avery just stepped into the studio. Avery, what are your thoughts on Curtis Sliwa?
He's awesome.
He's a legend. I love the guy.
He's like, do you know any of his policies? Because Billy wants to endorse him very badly, but he's struggling to name. Well, here's what we have so far. He wants to clean up the city.
Yep.
He wants to make sure that the mentally challenged, people who have mental illness, are taken care of in a compassionate way.
Yeah.
And karate. Those are the three platforms.
I mean, he literally got back when New York, like the police couldn't do anything in like the 80s. He literally got a bunch of people and taught them all karate and had them patrol the subways.
I like that.
That's a man
great.
who loves New York.
Do I want him to be mayor though? I don't know.
You want Eric Adams to be mayor?
Eric Adams lives in New Jersey.
I don't know.
That's facts, Billy. That's
I don't know much
The guy
about
lives in the
Eric
city.
New Jersey,
Doesn't even live in the city.
No, but I mean, Curtis also just recently got hit by a taxi 3 days ago.
What's with the beret?
He's a guardian angel.
What is it?
He's
what
been
is
actively-
He dresses really well too.
He's been a
That's big
guardian
part.
angel of
Really
the
big
city for the past 30
What is?
years.
But wait, am I missing something? What does the beret
It's
have
the
to do?
uniform.
It's the
What's a
uniform of the
guardian
karate people.
Who are the guardian angels?
They're helping
know
people on the
karate.
subways.
Okay, here's what it is. Here's what it comes down to. Every major city in America has their guy that everybody knows.
Is Curtis Sliwa that guy for New York?
He's like the New York guy.
You don't have a guy.
Curtis Sliwa is your guy. That's the New York guy.
Who's the Harrisonburg, Virginia guy?
Harrisonburg. That was Norm at Strictly Volvos. Everybody knows that.
Yeah, but he was a corporate. He had corporate interest.
Norm?
Yeah,
absolutely not. Norm was a small
Volvos?
bit. No, he was a Volvo
He wanted to
repair
sell
guy.
everybody
He was
to
a
Volvo.
Volvo repair guy. He didn't sell any Volvos. He repaired them. He lost a leg due to the incompetence of the Rockingham Memorial Hospital that failed to identify a blood clot in his leg on 2 consecutive visits. He was just a man that knew everybody, always looked out for you. Norm at Strictly Volvos, R.I.P. I'm pretty sure he's dead.
Curtis Sliwa just wanted to teach people karate.
Wait.
He's the guy.
And keep the subway safe.
Pretty sure he's dead.
Isn't karate like a Chinese art? Why is he wearing a French beret? Am I stupid?
Just go with it. There's no. It's not. Just go.
Berets are not karate.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
Doesn't matter. He's a man of many
Berets help
cultures.
people. It portrays a sense of confidence.
He's doing Sylvester Stallone cosplay, is what he's doing.
There's a correlation between politicians and berets. Like it means something. Like a lot of politicians wear berets.
But what?
Fascists.
Worldwide.
Yeah, that's a good point. Saddam was
not all fascists. Not all fascists.
Saddam was a huge beret guy.
Yeah, but Curtis. It's more of like I find Curtis is one of these people.
Do you just find him
been-
entertaining?
Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
but
But
if
see,
he,
to that point though, bro, that is politics nowadays.
but I actually think he cares.
That is the bar though. But that's the bar. Motherfuckers just want to be entertained. You don't give a fuck about his policies. You said he wants to clean up the streets, and the nigga has karate people patrolling the subways. Which is
I
the
know,
dumbest
but
shit you could possibly do.
I rather have Curtis Sliwa as my mayor as opposed to just Bill de Blasio, who kills groundhogs and everyone just hates. Everyone hates him.
I don't know enough about
important.
his groundhog.
It's important that
saying-
he dresses well because
All I'm saying,
De Blasio looks like an idiot whenever he puts stuff. on.
Blasio's the
Yeah,
that's
no, I
the
know what
Red
we're talking
Sox
about.
guy.
Yeah,
De Blasio's a Red
Yeah,
Sox
I mean
fan.
that's said a
Wait, de
lot
Blasio's a
about
Red
New
Sox
York
fan?
City.
Yeah, I mean, we're probably boring our national audience with our inner New York City sort of
I
beefs.
used to think that when I would hear people in the media talking about New York City all the time, and now I live here and I want to talk about it because it's bullshit.
yep.
hey, but see, what isn't bullshit?
Tennessee
the
football.
Constitution, mother.
Well, we've taken that out and pissed all over it at this point.
Wait, I just got to the murder attempt part of his Wikipedia entry.
No,
No, they attempted
that more.
No, he is not a killer. They tried to kill him.
Yeah, that's a misleading.
news.
That's a misleading Wikipedia subsection.
Someone shot him several times.
They tried to murder him.
The mafia tried to kill him because John Gotti tried to kill Curtis Sliwa. That's a man who's for years put his life on the line for New York City. Like, I want a fucking mayoral candidate with gunshot.
Come on, Billy, endorse.
That's fucking.
Endorse.
I'm actually
endorse. I'll do it with you.
Make him earn your endorsement.
No, he already has. I
love endorse.
Bring him on a podcast.
I don't want to get too political.
He was awarded Newsboy of the Year when he was a newsboy.
He was
the New York Daily News.
Boy.
He was a paper boy. No, but it was Newsboy of the Year. He was invited to the White House after he saved several people from a burning building while on a paper route.
That's my guy.
This sounds
That's
like
my guy.
bullshit.
No, this guy's been
you just don't know
guy.
Kurt. You just don't know Kurt.
He was also expelled from high school, so big red flag.
This is like the mayoral candidate that you like write about in a comic book or something.
Mm-hmm. So here we go. When it comes to recent politics, in September 2016, he launched a successful hostile takeover of the Reform Party of New York State. The reason being because he hated Donald Trump, couldn't be a Republican.
He's not a Trumper.
Yeah, no, he called Donald Trump a screwball and a crackpot. And then after Trump left office, he switched back to being a Republican after Donald Trump was no longer the face of the party. This guy's a wild card.
He's the real version of you don't mess with the Zohan. He is.
In 1992, Sliwa admitted that he and the Guardian Angels faked heroic subway rescues for publicity. He also admitted to having claimed falsely that 3 off-duty transit police officers had kidnapped him.
Look, there wasn't social media
they
back
were
then.
transit. They were part of the mob.
You didn't know. Wait, okay, here we go. And he's been married 4 times, Alpha. In 2018, he married his longtime girlfriend. I mean, how old is he? 67? When you're 67 and have a longtime girlfriend, that's pretty cool. And they live together in the Upper West Side with their mini rescue cats.
Yeah, he's the only mayoral candidate that actually lives here.
Yeah, I mean, look, and people from all across the city respect him. He actually. This is gonna sound very cringy coming from me, but he gets respect in every neighborhood.
I love it. The Upper East Side and the Upper West Side.
Yeah, he just walks around. Everyone kisses the ring. They hand him like a fresh baked pie. He just makes his way around town, does the rounds. He collects.
If you look at his TikTok, anyway.
I won't.
Yeah,
I won't do
He's
that.
not gonna win.
Here's a great picture of him and his wife with 4 cats just crawling all over them. I mean, he seems like his heart's in the right place. Again, I don't know that much about the guy outside of what we've discussed today. His girlfriend is like 40 years younger than him. That's cool.
He doesn't seem real. Because
he's real.
He wants to add more to the police budget. I'm off him.
Can I ask a question about this? When am I allowed to vote in the mayoral race?
I think you can register here.
I can.
Yeah.
Who are
you going to vote for?
Where are you going to pay taxes, Maddie? Yeah,
well,
you got to start paying New York taxes if you want to vote.
I got to get a full-time job and then I'll pay New York taxes.
Good question though, Big T. Make sure she's on your side before you tell her how.
I want to see which way she's leaning before I. Yeah.
So wait, shouldn't everybody be able to vote, Big T? Not just people that agree with you?
Yeah. Well, that's how the libs would have you do it. It's just they want everyone to vote unless you're going to vote for a Republican. Then you should.
No, you just literally did that to Maddie.
I did it on a comedy show. They do it on CNN.
You know the libs are incapable of comedy, PFT.
Yeah, I know. Everywhere you turn on late
you
night
watch
television.
Hannah Gadsby recently?
I have not. No. This is another one of those things that like conservatives think that liberals like is their Bible. CNN. Liberals spend all day watching CNN, Stephen Colbert, Samantha Bee, and Hannah Gadsby. And if they don't say it, yeah. So I don't even know that much about Hannah Gadsby.
I don't know who that is.
Oh,
Rachel Maddow.
Whoa, yeah, Rachel.
Mm-hmm. There's another one.
That's a whole nother hour. Remember when she had Trump's tax returns and she waited 40 minutes into the show to show that he paid taxes? Fucking hack.
I love Big T.
It was very funny when she's like, "Okay, we've got his tax returns. Everybody tune in. Everyone in America watch. You watch. She got you."
Yeah, I did.
And then she was like,
commercial breaks.
Then she was like, and then this other time, a friend of his parked his boat next to a guy from Ukraine, and it's like, whoa.
And actually, the whole thing was that he paid like $8 million in taxes that year.
All right. Well, we can agree on a few things.
Speaking of Trump, did you see him doing the chop at Game 4?
It was an awkward chop.
He looked robotic, but he looked very stoic, presidential.
What does that mean?
He looked like he's ready.
Do you think he's coming back?
Oh, he's coming back with a vengeance.
He's gonna run
before 2024?
Journalistic question, Big T. How many Let's Go Brandon chants were there at the game?
There were a couple. I didn't partake.
I've never seen anyone more in his element than Big T last night.
Listen, I know
I
we lost. It was fucking
Oh my
awesome.
God. I drove from Nashville to Atlanta on call. I got a call at 12 o'clock. They were like, "We need you in Atlanta." And I showed up, saw Big T. Big T was crying. Big T almost was in tears that he was at the game.
I wasn't in tears. When we walked out and we saw the grand slam in the first inning, I was like, holy shit, like this is fucking so cool.
They fucked that up.
Listen, that's why they make you win 4. We're gonna win.
You sound
Big
very
T.
optimistic right now.
Yeah, even when it was the grand slam, it was the first inning that grand slam was hit, right?
Yeah, but like being there,
You got caught up in the emotion.
You could literally feel it. I was like, there's no way we're going to lose this game. Like the energy was just,
You did.
it was something I've never experienced before. It was truly like indescribable. Then they went out and shit the bed.
What part of your conscience, your brain is telling you like, it's an Atlanta team with a 3-1 lead. Like we really got to see that final out before we start high stepping on.
That's what I thought last series, because this exact same thing happened. We went up 3-1. Dodgers won Game 5, and then we went out and kicked their ass in Game 6. I told Avery, like, you can quote me on this. It's kind of it's a no lose situation for me because here's what's going to happen. We're either going to win the World Series or I'm just done forever. If we lose this, I'm out.
He said in the Uber on the way home, he said, if we lose a series, which is improbable, but if we do, I will never watch sports again.
I'm just out. I'm done.
On all sports?
Done.
I would still probably watch UT, but all professional sports, dunzo.
Whoa. Really?
Yeah.
Even so, Falcons out?
Oh, I don't. Who gives a fuck about the Falcons?
Wow, who would be in on the Falcons at this
They
point?
called me to go to Atlanta yesterday when the Falcons game was on. I couldn't turn that shit off quick enough.
So all right, so you've got like the entire fandom, your fandom of the Atlanta Braves on the line at this point.
If they do this again,
If they blow a 3-1 lead,
which they're not going to, we're
Look,
winning the
Big
World
T.
Series on Tuesday.
There's a 3-1 curse going around.
yeah.
Like,
I've been on the receiving end of blowing a 3-1 lead in the World Series.
Mm-hmm.
It hurts. It hurts bad.
Yeah, no, I can imagine. Well, MLB staged that with that rain delay. Cleveland would have won that World Series
It's rigged.
if
Thank you.
Manfred didn't.
Cleveland blew a 3-1 ALCS too. Don't let them fool you.
Cleveland, yeah.
But
And
they
fucking Cleveland lost to the
also-
Steelers
Cleveland
yesterday.
also finally got a title.
Yeah, they also beat the Golden State Warriors, who blew a 3-1 lead. Also
Right.
rigged though because of Draymond Green.
Correct.
Yeah, never free.
I
It's
wish
all
I
rigged.
wish I knew more about baseball because it's real. Like I go to a lot of baseball games, but I just go there and just get lit and have no idea what's going on.
Arian, baseball
No
is actually
fucking-
really fun.
That's pretty much all you need to do.
I bet it is amazing. I bet the players are cool. I bet there's a whole bunch of action. But if you just go with a really cool group of people and you drink and have a little cool section and everybody's good there, it's just good to have in the background. Like, wow, you getting
is.
fucked up.
Like
that's
a nice summer day, you're outside eating some good ballpark food. There's nothing better than a day game. Like during a weekday day game that you go to when you're supposed to be at work and you look around the ballpark and everybody else is also supposed to be at work and it's beautiful outside. That's heaven. I love that shit.
People like to argue that hockey's the best sport to watch live, and I completely disagree because of everything Arian just said. Baseball, far and away, is the best live sport. I don't even think it's close.
I think baseball is just like the easiest to enjoy, and like no matter what the outcome of the game is.
Mm-hmm. Even if you're not, I'll put it this way: if you're not a fan of whatever sport, baseball is the best one to go to.
Yeah.
Well,
You still have fun.
I think this is what it is. I think the fans are so more laxed because if you lose, it's like there's 160 some games or something like that.
162.
162 games. So it's like if you lose one, you're expecting to lose a lot actually. But like like a football game, it's like every one might determine the rest of your season. So like fans is in it and they pissed off and like, but like at a baseball game, it's just like, let's just have it on in the background while we.
I think it depends on what ballpark you're in though. Because like Tropicana sucks. Like you don't.
Which one's Tropicana? Which one's
Tampa? So
Tampa.
if
They're
it's
not even going to exist in a few years.
so they're going to move to Montreal.
I've been to the Houston one, which is fire because I got a retractable dome. That shit crazy. That was dope. I've been to Dodger Stadium. I've been to.
I love Dodger Stadium. I never really understood why people love Dodger Stadium until I went there myself. It's beautiful.
Tore Hispanic neighborhood apart to build that. You should look into that.
I'll check that out. Which neighborhood was that?
I'm not sure the name of it. I don't the semantics, but
okay, I'll look into it. I'm talking about the ballpark though.
Right? No, yeah.
Beautiful.
No, you look what they did to build it though. You should look.
You could. I mean, if we're gonna go down that road with sports teams, I think nobody's hands are clean on that one. Right?
I don't know.
Let's be honest.
What did he say? I didn't hear what he said.
They tore down a Hispanic neighborhood in Los Angeles to build the Dodger Stadium. I don't doubt it at all.
I wouldn't doubt it. I don't know.
Probably right.
That shit they that's how they did the 110 freeway as well. The one they put it right through a neighborhood that knew it was gonna bring the property value down. They did that shit. They do that shit all over this.
Eminent domain. I actually have a question for you, Arian, about your Houston Texans. So you're Houston Texans.
That's interesting.
Big fan. If you're on this team right now, do you fake an injury? I would fake an injury so fast if I were on this team that has no chance of doing anything. It seems like it's a miserable place to be. They're trading away all your friends, all the good players on the team are leaving. I would just be like, oh yeah, my ankle hurts.
Nah, you never fake an injury, and the reason is why is because it's even if the team is performing bad, you could still perform well, and that is an audition for either somewhere else or a payday somewhere. And so you always put your best foot forward. That was always my motto. Shit, we had a season where we went 6-10 season where I led the league in rushing. We went 6-10, didn't have no shot at the playoffs, but that shit helped me out majorly in my negotiation process. We also had when I was in my deal, we had like a 4 and I know we lost a whole bunch of games. I kind of stopped watching because I got injured like game 8, slipped a disc in my back. But even we weren't very good. I think we were like 2 and something when I got injured, maybe 3 and something. Mm-hmm. But I was still doing my best just because it's always one, you're kind of prideful about what you do, but 2, you it's an audition to go somewhere else or it's an audition to get paid. So it's like you never want not in the NFL. It's your chances. I mean, you only play 16 times, right? Or 17 now, but like you only play a small amount of time. So it's better to put all your eggs in that basket than I'm gonna tank it for next year. That's not really a thing.
I would just get so depressed in that locker room right now. It seems like a sad place to be. But I guess that's why if you have a good group of professionals around you, they're gonna remain committed. But I don't know, from an outside looking in, I was saying the other day, you could pay me $5 million, and I don't know if I would play for the Houston Texans right now.
I guarantee you would.
$5 million?
I'd 100%.
But I don't know what you make on. I don't know what the part of my take checks is like.
$82,000 an episode before taxes.
Oh shit!
Yeah,
for real?
Yeah. No. That's
why does everyone believe?
I don't know, man. I wouldn't doubt it, man.
The funny part is, like, we've been saying for years. I think it's gone up. It was 50,000. Then we started saying 75. Now it's 82. Might have to kick it up to the 90s
because it started to hit. 50,000 started to hit. That's why.
Well, it's because of Biden's inflation.
Shit started to be reality. Wasn't funny no more.
What's funny is that if you look at what Call Her Daddy gets now. The podcast that was at Barstool, I think they still do some merch stuff with us right now, but they're out on their own, or Alex Cooper's out on her own right now. I think that she makes like $170,000 per episode legitimately.
Jesus Christ.
And so it makes what we joke about actually seem like it's chump change compared to what the Daddy Gang is pulling.
You up there though. Don't even front. You up there. It's okay. Hey,
I'm comfortable.
Own that. Wear that shit, dog. You earn that shit. Y'all was grinding in vans and hassling the fucking all
It
these
shows the
leagues.
fans. They could have had something better.
Sure. But y'all was grinding, man. Y'all grinding, but that shit is all good, man. Big T, we live in a capitalist society.
I love anybody that can get on a podcast, market themselves, and make a shit ton of money.
Mm-hmm. Fuck the workers. Fuck that shit.
The workers, they're the workers.
Yeah. Big T, what about Felix at Chapo? They're pretty left wing, but they make good money on Patreon. I think they're the top Patreon out there.
Anybody who can tap into a market that people are willing to pay for, that's awesome for you.
Mm-hmm. All right. But Billy, for the record, would play for the Houston Texans. I think for $5 million, I would play for him for the rest of the year. I think anything below $5 million just seems like a hassle. And
five ain't gonna bring me out of retirement.
No, and while we were recording, your job got taken with the Titans.
Yeah, Adrian Peterson.
Who they signed?
AP.
How old is Adrian Peterson?
Listen, man.
He's gonna be similar age to you.
Oh man, he's older than me. I think he's 36. 36.
No way,
36,
he's still
37?
in shape.
He is.
No,
36.
I guarantee he's still in shape. I can guarantee that. But it's just like listen. If you're a quarterback, it makes sense why you still playing at 36. Like you don't really get hit like that. Like you maybe hit, you get hit big time in a game maybe 8 times throughout the year, right? In practice, they don't touch you. Training camp, they don't touch you. So you walking through life pretty fucking cool. But as a running back who totes that thing, who get 20 carries, 15 carries a game, you 36 years, why do you want to do this? Where do you love maybe you do. And maybe that's where I've checked out.
Arian,
there's no way. I love it like that. To be subjected to that pain, it hurts. I'm still in pain to this day. I don't understand it.
What would be the perfect situation for you to come out of retirement, though? Like there has to be something.
Oh yeah,
or some paycheck.
They
said to talk to. No, I couldn't even do that. I'll tell you what, because I ran back-to-back games. So I ran a whole day of ball Wednesday and then a whole day of ball Thursday. I was shot. So no.
What are you trying to prove?
I was just trying to get back in shape. I told you I'm trying to tighten up for the holidays, dog. I'm trying to get these Christmas abs. But so it would be perfect for me if somebody was like, "Yo, we have a head coaching job for you. You don't have to audition. I'm out there. That's the only way."
So you would never play again, but you would coach?
No, ain't no way I'll play again.
Where would you want to coach?
Anywhere. I could turn the place around.
Really?
Would you like want to go be a position coach and then try to be a head coach, or you'd only do it if it was a head coaching job first?
Only head coach. Position coaches are peons, and no disrespect to position coaches. They
sounded a little disrespectful.
Okay. Peons is a bad term, but if they don't admit this, they're not honest with themselves. All position coaches are just stepping stones to eventually want to get to a head coach, right? And none of them have I'll take that back. It's very rare where a position coach has any power, any leverage in a room. It's the head coach, and that what he says goes. And the majority of position coaches don't make it to be head coaches. So what bothers me about position coaches is they'll just toe the company line without actually standing up for their guys. So I guess that's where I have a little bit of disdain for position coaches, because a lot of the times they'll just be company men and they'll just say whatever what the head coach wants. And it's like, bro, do you have any what's up with you? Like go stand on the table for us. You know what I mean? Like, yo, my guys is doing this. And I guess that's where it comes from.
You know who used to do that in New England? Bill O'Brien.
He used to do what?
He would speak against Belichick. He would tell Tom to shut the fuck up. He was very Josh McDaniels is I'll do whatever the fuck you say. And he's bad at it. And Bill O'Brien would be like, no, we're going to do it this way. I don't really care.
And I like that. And I think that I always say this. I think Bill O'Brien was a good offensive coach, dog. I really think he was a very brilliant offensive mind. But he started suckling that power teat, and it just his cup runneth over. And it just went downhill. But as far they started micromanaging, but as far as offensive scheme, he knows what he's doing. He's not a bad coach. I would go to the grave with that one.
All that being said, let's talk about today's topic, which is Havana syndrome. Havana syndrome, for the uninitiated, it's a can we call it a phenomenon? I don't know what to call it just yet, because
it's an occurrence.
It's an occurrence. People aren't sure how real it is. Well, it's real. It's real because people are experiencing physical effects from it. We don't know what the cause of the physical effects are, but it started from United States diplomats, Department of State workers, and CIA employees who were stationed in Havana, Cuba, and they started to report that they were feeling various symptoms, headaches, ears ringing, nausea, irritable bowel syndrome, things like that. And initially it was reported that it was coming from some sort of sound device that was being directed at our... Yeah, Billy, looks like you had a fact you wanted to interject.
Well, there was reports that a bunch of officials in Havana who were staying at La Nacional Hotel, a bunch of different places in the embassy, came down with all these symptoms. Some of them were concussion-like, nausea, vomiting, and then they reported their symptoms. A lot of people came out of the woodwork with similar symptoms, including tourists who'd stayed there before any of this went down. They reported hearing weird ringing noises, reporting tinnitus. I hope I said that right.
Yep.
But with it, there's been many theories of what it could be: microwave frequency. Someone's shooting some sort of sound beam or using some sort of frequency of ultrasound, be it Russia, China, Cuba itself. But this was huge during the Trump administration, and there were some occurrences during the Obama administration. Their debate is this just being drummed up to sort of get support for national security? But several people have hypothesized that it could be the sounds that they recorded could have been crickets and cicadas that are native to Cuba. But remember, those were just the recordings that they could hear at the time. Like they went to look for the ringing sound that it could be, and they recorded the cicadas. There's a lot of different stipulations. It occurred various times in Austria, in Austria and Ukraine. There were examples of it occurring on U.S. soil, but those weren't as confirmed. There were less instances. So there's basically, we don't know if, some foreign entity or aliens is shooting U.S. diplomats with ultrasound.
I like that,
attack.
Sprinkling the aliens in there.
Throw some
too.
aliens in
Yeah,
there.
they did a study. So there was a study done, I think, at the University of Pennsylvania, and one of the people that was in charge of the study is also on the board for the NFL's concussion studies. He's like on the traumatic brain injury panel for the NFL. His name's Doug. I didn't write down his last name. Didn't catch his last name, but Doug at the University of Pennsylvania. I think that's what he goes by. He's also working with NFL players to study their brains, and they did some research, actually, like medical experiments, medical tests on people who were reporting symptoms, and they said that they could identify in their brains that there was something neurological going on. So there was a physical condition that was being manifested through their brains. So it was demonstrated, it was proven, according to Doug, that it's a real occurrence. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's brought on by some sort of sound wave or microwave cannon that was directed at our embassy employees. It could be also in their minds, because there are certain things that can happen to people where they get a psychogenic illness, and it is not something that's transmitted. But if one person says that they are experiencing something and they feel like symptoms that are related to vertigo, and everybody around them is informed about this phenomenon that's happening, and they're like, hey, be on the lookout, which they did say. They had meetings for the staff there and said, be on the lookout if you feel any symptoms along these lines, make sure to report it. People can placebo affect themselves into feeling these symptoms too. The human brain is definitely more than capable of coming up with. So it's a real thing that people are experiencing, but we don't know if it's really caused by a foreign agent or outside person / alien, Billy.
Right.
That's directing like a sound cannon
Or
at them.
Cuban Bigfoot.
Or a Cuban Bigfoot. It could be.
Some people think that Castro, Che Guevara, they may have just been shaved Bigfoots causing communism.
I don't
That's
hate
why
that.
they had all the beards and stuff. They couldn't shave all of it.
You mean Justin Trudeau's father?
Right.
Was a Bigfoot.
Right. Yeah, maybe.
Okay.
It's just a hypothesis. No, but something that was really interesting is that when they said there might have been brain damage, they said they saw differences in white matter. From what I can understand is how the brain communicates to different parts of the brain. And of the people all studied, they had variations in white matter. But even though just because they had variations, all those variations could be the same as random 40 people you picked out and examined their brains.
Yeah, go ahead.
And then another point was because they had this idea, and this happens with a lot of like the opposite placebo effect. If you tell someone that they may have gotten brain damage, if they're experiencing something like depression or some other sort of mental.
You walk into a room and you forget why you walked into the room. You're like, that must be the brain damage that's popping up.
Reiterates.
Again. Yeah. So it falls into a thing where everything that is unusual that happens to you, you chalk it up to the brain issue.
And then you get into recessive thought loops where you think that your brain is just damaged and you can't it's a very. I was actually reading a lot about it because it was fascinated me, and actually they think that's sort of the basis of like psychedelic. That if you a lot of the since the psychedelics are marketed is these are supposed to repair your brain. If you feel good after it happens, you're like, oh, I'm free of all the baggage I had before. And they don't. That's the one thing with psychedelic medicine research right now. They don't know if like by claiming it heals your brain and then it may make you feel better after, and you may be in a better hedspace. That sort of accelerates healing.
But there's actual research. But there's actual research that like the connectivity of the neurons is a real physical property of it. But so you're talking about afterwards? Yeah. The lingering effect is since I'm healed, and that kind of residual. That makes sense. Okay.
Even though because it helps, it might help this much, but just the idea that it is helping causes this much progress.
It can extricate you from those recessive loops that you're talking about. Yeah.
I think people go through that with like mental health as well, right? If you're in a constant state of I'm depressed, you can throw yourself back into depression, which is very normal. And I don't want to like minimize people's mental health, but it's one of the best things I've learned because I've been in deep depression and have anxiety for some years now. But some of the best things I do is just surround myself with as much positive things as I possibly can, because that helps keep your mind out, because your brain will take you there if you let it. Like every single time it will do it.
Coley, you experience vertigo, right? Did I phrase that correct? Do you have vertigo? Do you suffer from vertigo? Do you experience vertigo?
Experience is probably the more correct term to use. Like I've been okay ever since. Like I've been able to control it. It used to be every day. It's certainly not that anymore. I experienced it recently. I can't remember what I was doing. I was on top of the fucking green monster. That's what I was doing. Didn't feel great up there. But yeah, other than that, like walking into the office every day when we first got to New York, I experienced it, and that fucking sucked.
Is there something in particular that sets it off? Is it all like a psychogenic thing, or is it an inner ear issue?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure, because I have tinnitus too. Like I definitely still have that, and that is tied to effects of vertigo, because they're both inner ear afflictions. So I still have the tinnitus, don't have the vertigo. I know people who've gotten concussions have had vertigo, like Brock Holt in the Red Sox missed almost a full season after getting it. So it definitely can be not psychogenic. I definitely think it's a physical affliction.
Wait, so your father was experimented on in the MK Ultra experiment. You might be being experimented on in the Havana syndrome experiment.
I mean, I would love it. I would absolutely love it. We said it a little later. Like I think a lot of these people who want to say they have Havana syndrome, they feel special. I think that's a lot of what it is. They feel important enough to have someone else, a high-ranking enemy, think that they are important enough to cook their brain.
Yeah, I was doing some research into it and reading some of the interviews of people that claim to have experienced it. And there was one guy in particular that started off his experience by saying, now, just so you guys know, I've been in war zones before. I'm a strong guy. I'm pretty athletic. And this stuff, I would much rather be shot than experience what's going on right now in my life. And to me, that tells me the fact that the guy had to preface it with saying all that stuff tells you that he probably believes that he is worthy of being experimented on. He's worthy of being targeted.
I'd have to push back on that.
Okay, push back.
Because a lot of it is like when you're if you're talking about a mental challenge, a lot of people makes them feel weak. Like for example, like Lane Johnson, he just came out about how he was dealing with depression, anxiety,
Mm-hmm.
and like that's a guy who, if you didn't like, he says like I've dealt with some very hard physical challenges in my life, like this was so much harder than that. It was sort of that sort of kind of, he was trying to express that like this isn't something small, like something's actually wrong. I feel like that sort of way of talking about it wasn't really braggadocious, but more like trying to show their stressors and that they're really hurting in some sort of way.
I think that's a false equivalency, not to push back on you, Billy, but I think that's a false equivalency because that's a war with yourself, talking about depression and stuff like that. That's not an outside factor like a different government trying to cook your brain. That's where it feels like the self-importance and not weakness.
If you made a Venn diagram of people who think they have Havana syndrome and people who think there are Russian bots responding to them, calling them a dumbass when they say something stupid, it'd be one circle.
Okay, so only the libs are being...
No,
I was going to say, I think it's two circles that don't overlap at all.
No, it's the self-importance that like, no.
I don't think that's exact. I know what you're saying. I don't think it's exactly correct though, because if you were to be stationed in the United States Embassy, we have an embassy in Havana now. If you were to be stationed there and you experience anxiety, which can be a very real thing that manifests itself in like demonstrably provable physical ways, the first thing that would come to your mind would not be like, oh, I'm having a panic attack, or oh, I'm dealing with anxiety. It would be, I think I have Havana syndrome. You would jump to that conclusion.
But say that to some, like, for example, they had there was a couple tourists who came forward who were in Cuba and they left and some of them claim they haven't been the same since. Like they've had neurological, like when you're dealing with something that is so unknown and so scary, because there was.
But how credible do you think people are at self-diagnosing?
So there's this one guy, and I'll get into it later in the interview, but basically he had said that he basically was partially paralyzed while in Cuba, had to leave, went back to South Carolina to get all the testing done. They couldn't figure out what it was, but they saw that his central nervous system, something was wrong. Like there was various like, I don't know, this is something.
But was that symptomatic throughout everybody who he was around in Cuba, or was that just something that he experienced?
It was the first example of someone sort of that they can find. It was 2014 having these symptoms that other people express.
Well, that even lessens the credibility of it, because if it's a microwavable,
right?
If it's a wave being transmitted to a group of people, or was it just him?
I'm just saying though, I don't think
how do you isolate those microwaves? Right. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me, because I've seen a lot, like, so like I always revert back to COVID because it's like the most mass studied thing right now, probably. Mm-hmm. But so like people who say the COVID vaccine doesn't work, or the COVID vaccine is causing health defects, right? If there was no vaccine, health defects would happen regardless, right? So how much does that have to happen? How much of those variables do you have to factor in? And like I don't want to get into vaccines right now, but so when you're dealing with something like this, how many adverse effects of anything would they have had if it wasn't for them thinking that it was this despicable me brain cooker?
Mm-hmm. Well, remember, but it might not be that. It might be something totally different that's affecting these individuals. It might not be this like radio wave frequency.
So that they've checked out the sound. The sound was identified as being crickets. They checked out what's called the Frey effect. The Frey effect is the idea that if you direct like a certain microwave into the human brain, it ripples much like a wave. If you tap one side, and the output of having your brain ripple at this specific, vibration frequency, will give you some of these symptoms. But if you were to actually experience the Frey effect, it would be like debilitating to the point where people could not function at all. So what they're experiencing is like a little bit less than what has been studied. Now there haven't been a lot of studies done on what a microwave can do to human brain, because obviously I think there's some some ethical implications in doing that as a study. Being like, hey, can you sit down while we just nuke your brain for a while? You're going to end up with a lot of zombies. Maybe we can get some of those beagles, Big T, and that'll be what we experiment on.
What beagles?
Oh, Fauci's beagles.
Oh,
I'm not keeping up with his dogs. I don't.
Oh, okay.
Oh no, the function.
Oh, I got you.
No, there were like 2 beagles that got pictured. Some money from the United States. Was it the NSAID or whatever? Went to like a ethically bad experiment that was going on with dogs overseas. But yeah, so people are just now they're like, yeah, Fauci kills dogs.
Probably.
Do you actually believe that Fauci's evil?
Yeah. No, I think
he's evil, man.
Why, bro? Why?
Because he has led a response that has not only fucked this country up tremendously.
What do you mean led a response? Be specific.
I mean, he is the head of our response to coronavirus. He's the guy.
Okay, so what? Give me specifics. What has he done that you disagree
informed
with?
2 presidents on what their actions should be.
Mm-hmm.
He has we think he lied to Congress a couple times.
About what?
Gain of function research and what we weren't and weren't doing.
Mm-hmm. And what did has he been proven to that was a lie?
That's kind of on the record.
Yeah, they came out. And said,
what was the lie?
He said that we were in no way at all funding gain of function research at the Wuhan Institute of Virology, which the National Institute of Health has since said isn't exactly true.
Mm-hmm.
I think Fauci's actually like a prime example of people rooting for a guy and people rooting against a guy because of whatever political affiliation you have. I don't think that Fauci's done a perfect job at all. But I don't root like for Fauci. I don't root against Fauci. I think
there are a lot of people rooting for Fauci.
I think that
very popular Halloween costume.
Bro, he's a fucking virologist. Yeah, I don't understand what you're expecting from him. That's what I was trying to get to. I was trying to get to like what he actually did. Okay, he lied to Congress about funding. What actually done to that's evil.
Just stay at home for 15 days. It'll all be over. Stay home for 15 days. Well, actually wear the mask. Wear the mask. You can do whatever you want. Like life will be normal. Just wear the mask for a while. Okay, now we have a vaccine. Get the vaccine. Hang on. Get the vaccine.
Hold on.
Well,
be honest with me.
Still got to wear the mask though with the vaccine because the vaccine.
Be honest with me. BT, have you ever done any actual scientific research? Be honest.
No, that's not my job.
Okay. When people are in that field, right? When people are in that field, what they do is and when you're dealing with a live virus that is actually happening, what they do is they report what they find when they find it, which is what they should do. They're giving you the information that they have when it's readily available. So that's literally what science is. The reason why we're talking right now is because it's science, and our understanding of something has evolved. And to call it a lie, right? The lying to Congress about funding, I don't know shit about that. Could be, could not be. I haven't looked into that. But the lying to Congress, or the lying about the masks, or the lying about it's just not. It's out of context.
I don't even know if it's lying. I think it's taking measures that are extremely unnecessary and overly preventative, which have caused a lot more damage.
You're talking about unnecessary, and you don't have the ability to equip. You're not equipped with the ability to discern what is or isn't necessary when you're dealing with a virus that could possibly kill millions of people.
I don't think it's very controversial to say that in many areas of this country, the response to coronavirus has been more than what it should be.
Well, but in others, it's been a lot less than it should have been, and they got fucked up. So it's tough to find that. I kind of see a little bit of what Big T's saying in that if you're a remote community and back in March of 2020, like New York City went on lockdown and you had to deal with the same measures that New York City did, it probably made people be like, what the fuck? Like, why do we have to do this right now? I think that's kind of a natural response. I think it's
irrational, actually. I think it's irrational. Yeah, because we didn't know what it was like that. Like we literally have diseases on records that have wiped out populations, right? And for years, right, in the scientific community, they've been, I'm way back before any of this was a thing, they've been talking about there's going to be a superbug, and this is bacterial. This isn't even viral, right? They're talking about there's going to be a superbug that is resistant to antibiotics. And so this still may be on the forefront, right? But they've been talking about this for a while, about how there's going to be something come. There's going to be something that comes that we have to prepare for. And if they don't know that that's what that is, or if they don't take that, it's better to be safe than sorry. Is the thing.
So what I think about this can be boiled down from, I think what you're talking about, from last March to, I'll give you July. Whatever you want to say is fair game. Nobody knew what was going on. That's fine. Now it's 18 months later. We have a pretty good idea of what's going on, what the risks are. We have a vaccine readily available. When should things go back to completely normal?
There's no such thing as that.
Honestly.
Why?
Okay. For example, like the MMR vaccine or the polio vaccine, right? When things go back to normal, things go back to normal is because kids can't go to school unless they get vaccinated with those specific vaccines, right? That it's normal because we took those precautions.
But
we can't take those precautions now because it's so politicized that you think, not you, a lot of people think Fauci's like this evil, like trying to it's just not the case. All he's doing is saying, this is what we think the best thing is to do. And people disagree with it, right? And the people that disagree with it are usually not at so I got a buddy who's a doctor, right? I was saying, like, who is Fauci? Like, he's like one of the main virologists he literally wrote the book. Like, he's very good at what he does, right? And so for people to be like, he's a fucking evil, like all this, it's just not
evil
true.
Is a loaded and bad word to use. I think he's drunk with power.
I have a question, and I've been thinking about this a lot regarding the viruses. So remember, we're talking about the polio vaccine. I think that polio has been wiped out in a vast majority of the world because but in a good amount of the world because the vaccine, like, I don't think we actually get the polio vaccine anymore. They gave the polio vaccine to the older generation and wiped it out in certain communities. Because these vaccines don't work like those vaccines. They do work, they prevent people from dying. Isn't that sort of idea of creating a superbug sort of applicable? Because since the virus can still be passed from people who are vaccinated to other people who are vaccinated, aren't we now creating we've given out so many vaccines that the virus is going to get stronger?
Wasn't that kind of like what the Delta variant was a little bit, where
it mutates in the unvaccinated? It doesn't mutate in the vaccinated.
So it gets stronger.
I have no idea, but like
I don't know if it like how it and where it mutates.
I'm saying this because this is more of a reason to get vaccinated if you're not, because then it gets stronger because it passed through all these people who are vaccinated, and then it hits an unvaccinated person, and then it's gone through the vaccine gauntlet, and now it's gonna just like totally wreak havoc.
That's another reason why getting vaccinated is imperative.
But wouldn't that have been a better idea to just only I don't know, just like to only vaccinate the super at risk people who would die from it?
Well, then everybody else
still gonna come in contact.
Yeah.
Also, you can still get sick if you're vaccinated. It prevents you from dying. It usually prevents you from going to the ER, but you can still get really sick even if you're vaccinated. That still happens, like especially with older people. So, like if I'm going to visit my parents or something like that, I was not going to like be face to face in a room with them in an enclosed room and like hug them until I knew that they were vaccinated. Because, and even still, then like I wanted to be shot up too.
I'm just.
But yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
The Fauci thing goes back to what I was saying earlier, where people are rooting for like a guy, as opposed to just rooting for an outcome together or rooting for like a policy together.
But I don't know anybody that's like go Fauci. I just think people are like, this is like, name me somebody, brother, who's like everything Fauci says is correct. It's just ridiculous. It's hyperbole. It's hyperbole.
I think more people were in like the thick of it.
Name me one. All the people from my side of the vantage point, people were just like, "Yo, this is the lead virologist in the country, or he's put in this governmental position to advise us." That's what he's doing. I don't know shit about virology, and neither does any of us, right? So I defer
Anthony
to that expert.
Fauci fan club on Twitter has 68,000 followers.
I got a quick question. The one thing I have against Fauci, and I do trust his abilities as a doctor.
He's Italian.
No, it's that like just like I've been looking at a lot of, and this is everybody's guilty of this at that level of government. Look at where he has his, like, what stocks he owns and when he bought them.
Okay.
It's just,
Wait, talk to me.
Do you know?
I'm interested in that.
he owns a ton of the stocks of vaccine companies, of like.
But that was Trump's vaccine. Warp speed.
I know. I'm just saying. I'm like, if the guy's gonna do vaccine mandates and he's the guy who's trying to push for this.
Now, does he own?
I just want to know if he's a lobbyist or
Yeah.
he's an actual.
I don't
public
know
health
anything
official.
about his stock holdings, but my question would be,
Hey, send that link.
does he own mutual funds because he's of the age where he would be retiring? He probably has a 401k, and when you buy a mutual fund, you buy the fund, and
Right.
you are invested technically in all those different stocks. Or does he own those individual stocks, and is he individually trading stocks in like Pfizer and Johnson & Johnson, things like that? Because I think that's a pretty big difference, because most Americans who have worked in the corporate world or worked in government for a while, they have a mutual fund that they're invested in that they do not control.
Well, mutual funds, that's listed differently. Like if you own a Vanguard or something.
Okay.
But
So what is he invested in?
here, let me find it.
How Fauci fooled America
Well-
in Newsweek today. I'll be with y'all in 5 minutes.
Okay. All right. Well, let's get back to Havana syndrome. We'll check back in with Big T once he's done with his 5 minutes of research on the subject. But Havana syndrome, it's still up in the air whether or not it's caused by a foreign agent. And everything that I've seen is people just being like, well, if it were to be caused by a foreign government, it would probably be Russia or China. But there's no evidence whatsoever. There's zero evidence that it's being done by Russia or China. It's purely speculation at this point, and like where it's popped up and what we think that they've been working on over the last like 20 years, because we've been working on similar technology. But I feel like it's definitely being talked about a lot, and it's being passed through a lot of corporate media from their contacts in the Defense Department and the CIA and the State Department. They're getting them to write about this. So it does have the feeling of we're getting ready to cook up whatever our next boogie monster is, because in America, you always have to, the threat has to be there of having some sort of an escalation of conflict with another country, because if it's not there, then the money dries up. The piggy bank starts running a little dry for defense contractors, for a sizable portion of our economy. If we don't have somebody, it's, I hate to quote 1984 because I feel like George Orwell is being like, if he were to see the people that are using his quotes nowadays, he'd be like, that's not what I meant whatsoever. You just say Big Brother and you win the argument. That's kind of how it goes these days. But Orwell in 1984, I remember, it's been a while since I read, but it was like the phrase that they would say in the government would be like, we've always been at war with East, what is it? I forget now. Oceania. I forget the names of the countries, but it was always imperative that they had a conflict that was going in order to keep people scared and keep people doing what they wanted to do. I kind of get the sense from this that, like, I'll put it this way: when we're not in some sort of an escalated conflict, or when tensions aren't high with another country, Bond movies always suck. We have to have a good rivalry going on in order to make Bond movies believable. And that's a good like bellwether of like where we're looking in the future. Once a Bond movie starts like taking on a different government as being the new bad guy, then that's kind of like where we're focusing our attention nationally. This is the new country that you should be scared of. And we kind of encourage through society and through reports like the Havana syndrome, it's keeping us on our toes about Russia and China in a way that we probably wouldn't be thinking of that much if there weren't these reports in the news.
I would like to apologize. I cannot find any good right now link that ties Anthony Fauci to any of the big pharmaceutical companies surrounding the
Okay.
vaccine.
All right. Thank you for
Thank
you for your transparency.
Honestly, I
Billy.
would like to cut. Like, let's just cut that, because
because I think it's very important what you just did. You made a mistake and you owned up to it. A thing most people do not do anymore. I'd rather it stay in for that sole purpose.
I
yeah,
agree.
Yeah.
but I would want to cut the first part because I don't want anyone to hear the first part and then not hear this part.
Okay.
That makes no sense. No,
I don't know.
leave it
I
in.
just because I feel like a dickhead. Because usually I'm good at this.
Why? How about this?
I just found it for Nancy Pelosi.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
we're just she.
Yeah, that's
She is just a great stock trader, Billy. She gets lucky time and time
Fucking
again.
eye on the ball, that one.
That's another one where like, is anybody? Does she have like a bunch of stands or
Oh,
people
yeah.
who
Oh, yeah.
who like absolutely loves Nancy
Remember
Pelosi?
when she did that little thing at Trump and everybody's like, "Wow,
Yeah.
Nancy, yeah."
Yeah, I remember that. That was ridiculous.
Yeah.
People just like identify things in their public servants that they see themselves in, and they're like, "Oh, she gets me."
She's about as much of a public servant as a fucking manhole cover out there.
manholes.
They're
Yeah.
saying she does an important job. Yeah.
Yeah, good point.
She holds an important job.
Good.
She doesn't do it.
Good point. Good point. Manhole covers are actually integral to the structure of our society.
I once read this thing that like a rumor went around that manhole covers are like worth like $500 or like $1,000 each, and there's just some guy stealing manhole covers and collecting them.
Well, just because that's how much they cost to make doesn't mean that like those aren't coins. Like if you have a collection,
some
of,
guy was like trying to steal them and sell them. Yeah, a single manhole cover costs as much as $500.
She also has a beautiful house in San Francisco.
good for wow. She's
No
she's,
poop on it.
Nancy Pelosi is just a like the most talented stock trader of our generation. It's like Warren Buffett and Nancy Pelosi. They can time the market all the time, and it sounds like she's just she's got an eye for real estate. No, I don't know. I don't know anybody that like actually loves Nancy Pelosi.
I do love how people.
I know they exist, Big T. I do know they exist. He's right. She has her fair share of stands, but you shouldn't be, is what I'm saying.
That's
You should
shocking for
describe
me.
any major city as shit infested, no matter like how prosperous it was at a given moment. Like people earlier this year were like, "Oh, look at what Paris has descended into." Paris has historically been known as a piece of trash, like just trash on the streets, always. But now, because of everything that's going on, it's like, oh man, it's really gotten bad. No, it hasn't. It's always been bad. Always. San Francisco, always. New York, always. Like this idea that it's gotten dirty and filled with homeless people. Like, yeah, that's just what it is. That's how it always has been.
There is an app in San Francisco called Snap Crap where you can take pictures of poop on sidewalks and report it to the city.
Yeah, the reason that didn't exist 20 years ago is because apps didn't exist. That's the only difference.
All right, how about this? How about Billy? Just record you doing a pre-disclaimer where you say, "Attention, the fact I am about to bring up will be proven false in a matter of minutes. But in order to maintain the integrity of this podcast, we're leaving it in.
Okay.
Again, this fact is about to be false."
I'm actually on DuckDuckGo right now because I was using Google before,
Yep.
and I've actually I may have to reverse my reverse.
Now, are you going to have to reverse this in 5 minutes?
I might.
Oh, shit.
No,
how about
but-
this? How about you just say you haven't done sufficient research enough to speak on that? Just say that.
Yeah,
That's
either
okay,
way.
too. That's okay too.
DuckDuckGo will show you the shit that Google won't, though.
Yeah,
They're hiding shit from you.
Billy's actually in Fauci's bank account right now. He's looking at all the dividends.
I would like to pretense this with this not fact, but the statement I'm about to make. I have not thoroughly researched. You will see later in this episode. I do more research on this, and I want to make sure that you know that what I'm about to say is not entirely fact. And if you take this podcast seriously for facts,
Don't.
I'm trying to make.
All right, that was a good disclaimer. And also, can we also keep that part in later on in the
Have
episode?
it both times.
Yeah, we'll have it both times. So you can see full transparency behind the scenes. This is how we do the dirty work on Macrodosing.
We should have a standard disclaimer that runs before every episode.
Yeah.
Don't take any of this seriously.
Yep, I think that's a fair point. Anybody have anything else on Havana syndrome?
I kind of think the cricket excuse reminds me of the pangolin excuse.
Okay, go on.
It sounds like it's being like,
Well, they recorded the sound and then they ran it through laboratories and they had experts in not only sound recordings but also
those sounds, right?
insect
If you're
experts.
like, are we sure that if they played those sounds to people, they're like, that's the sound?
there could be another sound that's buried inside there.
I could,
But the noise that people were identifying with the Havana syndrome, there have been enough people that have agreed that, like, experts in not only insects but experts in
the sound that
sound.
they recorded was definitely insects.
Yes.
But it's like if you were sitting in a room like this right now and you suddenly heard that sound,
Mm-hmm.
would you think it was crickets?
I don't know.
You know, because like we know what cricket sounds like, and then if we went outside and heard the sound and there was obviously like bushes and heard crickets, we'd probably be like, that's cricket.
It might just be that the crickets in Cuba are built different, and they make you sick when you listen to them.
Sometimes crickets do sneak into drain pipes.
Yep.
Have you ever had that where there's a cricket in the pipes?
Yeah, or in the ductwork. Yeah.
And you just can't get to them to kill them.
It's really annoying.
But
really
I feel like
annoying.
you'd know that.
But this is multiple. It's not like one cricket that they're hearing. It's like an entire chorus of crickets that are outside the embassy, rubbing their cute little legs together.
So is Havana syndrome qualified as mass hysteria?
That's what they're saying. I just think
It could be.
I just think the cricket is like an excuse to like sweep it under the rug.
Yeah, that's what I'm.
Sweep what under the rug?
Well, there's people who are showing obvious ailments.
Like it would make
Billy, but you have yet to show that those ailments are correlated.
That's my thing. It's like there's not a lot of.
If you take any population, take them out, they're gonna have similar symptoms of anything, one given thing. If I
don't know.
20,000, if I take 20,000 people out of fucking one group out of North Dakota, the other group out of South Carolina, like they're gonna have some similar. We're human beings. We experience the same thing.
I don't think
what you have to do. You have to draw the positive correlation between symptomatic issues of whatever radio frequency they're experiencing and the effects of that. Like you have to do that. You have yet to do that. You're just skeptical that.
I don't think they're getting laser beamed in the brain, but I think something's happening.
Okay, so what the cricket thing is, it's not necessarily saying that the crickets are making people sick or whatever. It's saying that we can almost disprove that it's the sound that people are hearing that is the cause of their illness. It still could be some sort of a microwave
That's
technology.
Yeah.
It's not saying that it's not real because those are crickets. It's saying the sound is not what's causing it. The sound that people are saying that they hear, that they correlate with those symptoms, it's saying that they can prove that sound is not what's causing the illness. It still could be something besides that sound that's doing it. But it could be mass hysteria. It could be, like we talked about episodes of mass hysteria on another episode, but it could be one of those where one person hears it, they identify it with something. Next thing you know, another person says, "Oh, yeah, I have that too." And then before you know it, it expands. Enough people kind of agree with it that it becomes a real phenomenon. So that's actually like a perfect example of what mass hysteria could be.
Yeah, I like to be swayed. It doesn't sound convincing.
I want to hear more about it too. Yeah, I think it's interesting at least. Avery, Big T, you guys got anything on this? Or we want to get to the interview with our Havana syndrome expert, Felix. Before we get to Felix, I want to talk to you guys about our sponsor, Credit Karma. If you feel overwhelmed when it comes to handling personal finances, you aren't the only one. Credit Karma is here to help you make those big calls with more confidence. If you want to make a big change, if you're thinking about home renovations, if you're paying down credit card bills, Credit Karma can help you find a loan that works for you. If you're feeling frustrated, if you've gotten rejected for a credit card or a personal loan, don't worry, it happens way too often. That's why Credit Karma is changing the way people find and apply for cards and loans. Whether you're refinancing your credit card debt or you're paying for an upcoming expense, Credit Karma uses your credit data to show you fresh personal loan offers that are personalized to you. It's completely free. It's easy to sign up for a Credit Karma account with no effect on your credit score, making it simple to research for the right personal loan for you. On Credit Karma, you can check out multiple loan offers side by side with easy to compare estimated terms to make sure that you get the very best deal. Once you have a loan, Credit Karma can help you track your progress as you pay it off and even let you know if you can refinance and save. Credit Karma, apply with more confidence today. If you're ready to apply, go to creditkarma.com/loan offers. See personalized offers with your approval odds right now. Go to creditkarma.com/loan offers. Find the loan for you. That's creditkarma.com/loan offers. We welcome on a very special guest. You might know him as the co-host of Chapo Trap House. You might know. Are you Mr. Chapo? Who's Chapo?
I would this one time, like, someone in my life was like, "You're head Chapo," and I immediately deleted all her contact that was in my phone. I moved. I changed my locks. I like told people that we both know that I told them to tell her I was dead because I felt like she was trying to Yoko Ono us. So I reject that.
Smart. You also might know him as a New York Times best-selling author. With the Chapo Guide to Revolution, I read that a couple years ago. At least I looked at all the drawings; they were funny. And you might also know him as future Barstool Smoke Show subject matter expert.
I think I'm like up there. I mean, like, I'm not like the best at finding smoke shows, but the ones we already have, I think I can. There's a lot of data for me to work through.
Smoke Show Evaluator. So you're also joining us today to talk about Havana syndrome. You know, you're kind of an expert when it comes to just national security. You're our national security correspondent. It's Felix from Chapo Trap House. He's by your logic on Twitter. You probably have read some of his tweets in the past. You've probably heard of him. Go subscribe to their podcast if you are into that sort of thing. And he's going to talk to us about Havana syndrome because we're having a debate today on whether or not Havana syndrome is real. I like to think that we can trust all our diplomats overseas. That's kind of how I was raised. But you have definitely, you said you got your notes there. You've done more studying about it than we have. So why don't you just start out by telling us, what is Havana syndrome?
So in 2016, like late 2016, after Trump had already won, a group of State Department officials who were stationed in Havana in Cuba started reporting symptoms of headaches, loss of balance, nausea, symptoms that would be consistent with, you could say, ungenerously, a hangover, alcohol poisoning, things like that. And the thing really took steam when one of the diplomats said it had felt like he had been hit with a weapon. And it just kind of picked up from there. It had momentum within the U.S. security state because this was at a time when the Trump administration wanted to roll back some of the Obama initiatives of opening up towards Cuba. And, you know, for all the talk about Trump's personal like of Vladimir Putin, which I don't even think is that remarkable because he seemed to like every guy he met. He met President Xi once and he went, "This is a beautiful, special man, nicest person I've ever met. I love him." But of course, you know, that didn't dictate policy in most places. You know, the Trump administration saw a massive increase in sanctions and aggressive posture towards Russia and towards China. And so this became something within the U.S. security state. I think the function of it was to get more liberal Obama holdovers to stay on board with the Trump stuff, with, you know, the idea being, okay, well, you may not personally like Trump, but we have, you know, Mattis running defense. We have, you know, we have a bunch of sober-headed people in there, and we're going to increase sanctions for Russia. And, you know, look what they're doing to us. They're shooting mind waves at us. The consensus among the people who got quote unquote Havana syndrome for a while was that it was a microwave attack. But this is impossible because the Pentagon and Russia have tried to develop microwave crowd control devices, which are massive. You could not hide them anywhere. And they do heat your skin from inside out, and you wouldn't have uniform symptoms like you would here.
Is that the
Everyone's
stuff that,
getting hit?
I think we heard about that. Like, was that Lafayette Square Park back during the Black Lives Matter protest? Was there some reports that like some people, they felt their skin heating up, that sort of thing?
Yeah, I don't know how verified that was, but it wouldn't shock me. I mean, American police are given military technology to just brutalize people. But again, you know, the symptoms those people described, if that's a microwave, it's completely different from what the people suffering from Havana syndrome describe.
Mm-hmm. So the at first, didn't they say that it was like a sound attack? like we used to hear back in the day about the CIA shooting, like they're blasting Twisted Sister and objectively awesome music at people that were taking hostages down in Central and South America. And that was like a technique to get them out. And then I think in this, they initially said it was some sort of sound attack. And then they recorded the sound and scientists analyzed it. And it turns out it was literally crickets. It was just crickets chirping their wings. And I don't know, my whole position on this is I think people grow up and they join the State Department, they join the CIA, and they think that they're going to be Jason Bourne. They see their career as like, okay, this is going to be really exciting. I'm going to go on overseas missions. And they end up doing what most of us do at our jobs anyways, which is just a shitload of paperwork. And it's kind of boring. And then one person gets sick. And then that person who may have done some reading in the past about this type of technology tells their boss about it. Next thing you know, their boss has a meeting with everybody. It's like, hey, be on the lookout because we've heard reports that they're blasting this like mind control technology into our offices. And then after that, everybody is on the lookout for it. So they show up for work, like you said, with a hangover, or they just have, I don't know, a sinus headache one day. They're like, oh yeah, I've got the Havana syndrome too. So they're not intentionally like exaggerating what they're feeling. But if you tell people, okay, be on the lookout for this, and they see themselves as being in a situation where they're like, I don't know, they think that they're spies, and some of them are spies, and they're overseas. I think they're just humans like everybody else, and so they're way more inclined to be like, yeah, this is an attack on me personally. This is an act of war, and they build it up into a big thing, and then everybody talks about it, and then they go to the usual suspects, I think, in the American media to get them to write up the reports. Because I mean, if I see a report in like the Washington Post that says like CIA overseas offices attacked by military grade sound wave, I'm smashing that link so hard. I'm reading that every single time because it's interesting. It's fascinating. But I still really don't buy how true it is. And I don't know, how many people do you think have come down? Do you know what the official number is?
It's a few dozen people. And I think when you get into the dozens, like I'll put it this way. At my most generous, I will allow that maybe one or two guys, there's a bunch of ways you can make someone sick. And let's be very, very generous and say, okay, this guy wasn't hungover. This guy didn't, he doesn't just have food poisoning. He doesn't just have a weak stomach. And like, I don't know, someone fucked with him. Someone put something in his food. Okay. You could go from there, and he's embarrassed to say that, or he's a paranoiac. And then you could get 10, then 20, then everyone's talking to each other because everyone in this general field in both the diplomatic and intelligence corps, that's their water cooler talk, I presume. And you can definitely fool yourself into being sick. I mean, the other reading of it that I think is interesting is like a Macbeth reading, that these are college educated people who know what the CIA does, know what they've done to all these countries, and they are seeing blood on their hands in a way.
So they're so guilty about what they do for a living that they feel sick.
Maybe
I like that theory.
It's a little dramatic. I will say I am like, I'm broadly sympathetic to some of these guys because it's like we've all everyone's taken 2 perk 30s and then the next day been like, oh, I was attacked by something. I was attacked by something that like made me itch a lot.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
made me really hot.
I woke up in the morning, my belly was just covered in fingernail scratch, and I was like, well, it's definitely not the kratom that I took last night. I think it's I think I was abducted by somebody. Arian, you got anything for him?
I was just saying, everybody has not taken 2 perks and woke up like that. But I think it's just interesting the fact that I don't know. I think anytime humans collectively feel something, it's more often than not just that. It's because like women can like actively develop pregnancy symptoms if they, I think it's called pseudocyesis, where like their breasts start to swell and they start to get tender, they miss their periods, if they believe that they're pregnant. This is a real thing. And so I think it's like that with humans a lot of times. I don't think like the brain is pretty powerful that like and because there's so little cases, I'm skeptical of everything in general. This sounds like some movie shit.
Felix,
Yeah,
sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just saying, like, okay, if let's say like Russia or China has this, our military and our R&D budgets are 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 times bigger than theirs. You know, Russia is an economy the size of fucking Texas. Why aren't there reports? Why don't we have this? Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like when people say the Russians stole the election. Okay, if a country that size, like that fucked up, stole your election, it's game. Okay, you have to give it to them. What was the point of the NSA and all this shit? If they have that weapon and we don't, there are no reports of that happening to their spies. What was the defense budget for?
Mm-hmm.
What was the point of any of this?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like microwave technology, that sort of thing. I feel like I've been hearing about it for 30 years, that we are in the process of developing it. So it should be pretty open and shut for us to figure out if they're using the same weapon that we currently possess on them. I want to introduce you to Billy Football. I think you two are going to hit it off. Billy is an expert on a lot of things, mostly frogs, amphibian. Anything that's like in the amphibian realm, Billy knows like the back of his hand. So I'm interested to see where this conversation goes because I think Billy disagrees with you.
Felix, I'm going to have to push back on you on a couple of different fronts.
Okay.
No, not too. But what are your thoughts on the incidences of Havana syndrome outside of Cuba? Because the ones isolated to Cuba could have those same sort of conclusions. It's mass psychogenic illness and these types of things. But there were some various incidents in Russia and especially in Austria where you had, there was a account of Mark Vandroff, who served as a senior director for defense policy at the National Security Council, one of the most dramatic episodes involving a U.S. military officer stationed in a country with a large Russian presence. As the officer pulled his car into a busy intersection, he suddenly felt as though his head was going to explode. His 2-year-old son in a car seat in the back started screaming. I think there's a bunch of other incidences that happened outside of Cuba that were a little more sharper and to the point than just people having symptoms of, irritable bowel syndrome or just like concussion type stuff. And it's kind of, I think there is a little more to this because even the Biden administration, Kamala Harris, like redirected most of her party because of reported these like Havana flu symptom types attacks when they were visiting. She was departing.
Hanoi, yeah.
Yeah. So that whole thing. I mean,
canceling plans is awesome.
I know, but
maybe she's an introvert.
No, I hear what you're saying, Billy, but at the same time, wouldn't you say that like all these different symptoms, you can just explain if somebody's feeling bad on any particular day, you're like, I've got Havana syndrome.
True. I do think that the recordings that they had were definitely 100% those crickets and cicadas that were native to Cuba. But I think there may be some other underlying reason. Maybe it's not criminal. And honestly, one of my theories is that because Cuba doesn't have access to the American pesticides and antibacterials because of the Cold War sort of schism in our products, like that we couldn't import or export different products to Cuba, that there might be a totally different bacterial load in their water supply or food.
Sure.
Yeah.
Billy, question about the guy in Austria, because there are also incidents in Arlington, Virginia, which is, you can't throw a rock without hitting a guy who's at least been a contractor for the CIA. And then the Ellipse, which is on the National Mall in DC. In any of these incidents, were electronics affected? The guy who was driving the car with his son, look, his son's screaming because his dad, is freaking out. I think that was the navigation system on his car fucked up? Anything happened to that?
No, I mean,
did the car just shut off?
There was no reported impacts of stuff like Wi-Fi or, other electronics in the area, but it could be something, it's definitely you could say it's psychogenic, but the thing is there was this one report of a tourist who was recorded to have visited Cuba, an American, in 2014, before any of this was even. His name was Chris Allen, and he was a 33-year-old businessman from South Carolina. He traveled to Havana for a weekend of sightseeing. He went through Mexico. This was before Obama opened up everything. And he was a well-dressed Southerner who was traveling alone. So he sort of...
Why is him being well-dressed?
That's how he's described. That's how he's described.
I'm picturing he's seersucker.
I'm imagining...
bolo tie.
I'm just imagining...
He has a
family values.
I'm just
He has a monocle. I know he has a monocle.
If you're like Cuban and you see like a well-dressed Southern man like talking about,
how are they gonna know he's Southern?
Because he has a Southern accent, and they're just like,
He's dressed like a riverboat gambler.
Yeah,
it's basically Cam Newton is in Cuba,
but it definitely it gives them freaking flashbacks to like back when the mafia was running casinos in Cuba, and those were like the main clientele who would come into Cuba. So just like they would be like, he's absolutely a spy. We hate this guy. Maybe hit him with something. No, but this guy basically.
So let this be a lesson. If you're going overseas, dress like an asshole.
Yeah.
Like really slum it up.
Especially to current communist countries. Anyway, so he checks into his room, ends up getting, weird neurological symptoms. His central nervous system was acting up. They determined when he returned to South Carolina and got testing done on himself. He talked to friends and family about this. And then 3 years later, Havana syndrome comes up, and he then goes to the government. It's like, I think this occurred to me. And he was one of many tourists who reported symptoms that are associated with what he had and what the government officials had before Havana syndrome. And it was recorded in hospital records. They unrevealed HIPAA on this. And
Billy, if you was to survey South Dakota and ask them for those symptoms, like just random South Dakotans, I don't even know if that's what they are, but if you just survey, but like how many do you think will report that they had similar symptoms?
Probably a couple, and there'd probably be ways to check if but I think there might be a little merit to some of this stuff coming out of there.
But the reasoning as to why is sketchy, really.
I don't think we can also rule out, like you just talked about, Americans haven't been going to Cuba for a long time.
Yeah.
Americans still go to Mexico and can't drink the fucking water.
Yeah.
So you think we can go to this place where we haven't been in decades and there's nothing that there's no, like you were saying, the parasites.
I'm just saying.
My biggest problem too with like this giant microwave beam, I don't know how they're getting it so precise. Like you would see hundreds of people in like a busy Russian square also getting knocked out by this microwave beam.
My question is that my argument is that I do not think it is solely like a psychogenic mass hysteria scenario.
It's like one guy could have gotten murked by it, but then he told the others, and now everybody else sees that guy and they're like, oh, I have it too. Plus, let's not underestimate the idea, because I think this cuts across anybody's job and any sort of like socioeconomic, like any income range. If your boss at a job comes down with a mysterious illness, you're probably going to get that illness too, because you're going to want some time off work. I don't care if you work in a CIA building. If you wake up one morning and you have a headache, you're going to be like, yeah, I should probably take the next couple of days off. I got the Havana syndrome too. I
just more think that if it was just isolated to Cuba and occurrences in Cuba and sort of it was a group of one office building, it would be, 100% one office building, psychogenic. And then maybe after that happening, other places just having isolated incidents on the timeline that it all occurred after that first one. It could be psychogenic. Is there
any like specific symptoms like that or specific occurrences around it, like the electricity being affected or whatever the case may be? Is there any specific isolated that has happened consistently throughout all the reports?
I can't pronounce this word. It's one of those words that I will not be able to pronounce, but tinnitus?
Tinnitus.
Yeah, ringing in the ears.
You can get, most people probably have tinnitus from AirPods now. You know what I mean? Like it's like so much of this is hard to pin down exactly. And okay, you brought up Austria, which it's very close to Russia in proximity. How come there haven't been a million Ukrainians who have reported these symptoms? Wouldn't it be way more pertinent to the Russians to use this on Ukrainians than like just some replaceable shithead in the CIA and his son?
Yeah, Chechnya. True. There's a lot of places that I feel like Russia would go for first. I think we have a feeling in the U.S., or at least some of us do, where we think that Putin sits around all day just thinking about us. We think that we're rent free. Yeah, we're rent free in Putin's head right now. And like he's like, okay, what am I gonna do from 8 till noon? I'm gonna think about how to fuck with their newest hashtag that's trending right now on Twitter.
I think that's just a worldwide thing, actually. Like, I think America thinks everybody everywhere just thinks, how do I get to America? Because it's the greatest thing in the world. And you go other places and you're like, I don't really fuck with y'all like that. It's pretty funny.
They got their own shit. They have their own shit.
Yeah, but I
think like maybe this could be what happens to Americans when we spend like 2 weeks not eating corn syrup. We're just like physically addicted to that and like GMO, like whatever Monsanto is putting in the water, like just SSRI runoff from tap water, and we're away from it for 2 weeks, and it's like, oh, I'm dying, and it's just what everyone felt like before like 1959.
Yeah, we really missed an opportunity right when the quarantine hit a year and a half ago to really experiment on ourselves as a nation and just be like, okay, for the next 2 weeks, we're all going to stay inside. Let's pay everybody $4,000 to not leave their house. But the stipulation is that, like you said, don't drink any soda and smoke a pack of cigarettes a day and see how you feel at the end of it. Like, let's get fucking weird with it.
Actually, that would have been pretty genius if they offered bonus stimulus if you participated in studies.
Yeah.
Why didn't we do that?
Any stimulus. That would have been sick.
That would have been nice. Yeah.
Anything beyond like good luck and try to scam PPP.
Right. But the Havana Syndrome's got 2 things working for it. Incredible name. Branding is A1. Like Havana Syndrome, the second you hear it, Cuba still has some of that like communist fear in people for some reason. So Havana Syndrome's great. It also just feels almost like it reminds me of like when anthrax hit. People were like, oh, that's going to be in your mail tomorrow. Every package you get is going to be a brick of anthrax. And it almost felt like you were like a chosen one to get Havana Syndrome. Like you got to be special to get, like regular people aren't getting this. You got to be like you poors aren't getting anthrax in the mail. It's only for the top level CIA guys. And now it's the same thing with Havana Syndrome. I don't think either of them exist.
Anthrax definitely did exist.
It did exist, but not like how they were talking about how it was like anthrax was supposed to shut shit down, and it didn't. It was.
Well, I mean, if it was just like 1 or 2 dudes, it's a little operating system. Like, yeah, I mean, how many mailboxes can they reach? And plus, the half of the U.S. don't even check their fucking. I don't check my mail at all.
No, you're the last person to die.
Yo, I got another fucking notice, by the way, dog.
Did they write you a note?
Yeah, they wrote another note.
Just check your mail, please, for the love of God, Arian. There's like all these autograph requests from little 5-year-olds who think that you're a hero. That
who have Havana Syndrome.
Yeah.
I throw those away, by the way. It's creepy to me, bro. Because like if I respond to that, like 1, how did you get my address? 2, but if I respond to that, I'm setting the precedent that if you send something anonymously, I'm going to send it right back. And now you know where I live. Like I'm cool off of that.
Yeah, the adult male autograph seekers are some of the weirdest people on the planet. The guys that like immediately resell them, just guys that like would never be allowed in your home for longer than 5 minutes at a time. Just the strangest human beings on earth.
They're like the Jehovah's Witness of card signing.
Yeah.
Are there a lot of those guys, like guys who will just show up at your doorstep?
Oh my God.
Like, hey.
I don't know about doorstep. I never got at that, but it's like anywhere you go, if you go somewhere, especially if you travel with a team or something like that, they'll be on site with 40 pictures and they'll just look like this and they'll pick up, say, hey, can you sign this, man? You could personalize it, man. This is for my nephew. Like, you're a fucking liar, bro. You're gonna resell this shit. Wash that shit off and you're gonna sell this shit.
Those are the guys we need to shoot the microwaves at. Every team should have a microwave they can blast at those guys.
Yeah.
Spray the crowd. Hit innocent babies. It's all good.
There was one time I was in Northern Virginia and I was driving past, it was the vice president's motorcade. It was Dick Cheney at the time. And so I was going one way on a 2-lane road. He was going the other way straight at me. And I was on the phone and my cell phone literally just shut off right as his limo drove past me. So I know that we have, that's the pinch, right? Arian's giving me this look. I know that look, Arian. You're like, that's cap. You just say that's cap. Tell me it's cap.
I'm not gonna say you definitely had that experience. I'm just saying, what is the benefit of Dick Cheney driving by and shutting down having a big EMT blast bubble around him. Like, what is the benefit?
He's got a pacemaker, Arian. Any sort of electronics could make his heart explode.
Actually, that would make sense because a lot of people set off bombs by using cell phones.
Yeah.
So
And also the most, that's true. And the most important reason why he would do it, why a lot of those guys do anything, because he can. Because it's like, because it's like, fuck you. Yeah, I'm going to turn off every cell phone within 50 meters of me because it's like funny.
Was anybody in the car with you?
My brother, yeah.
Did he have a cell phone?
I don't know if he did. This was like probably 2002.
Oh, cell phones were like,
yeah.
You was the man if you had a cell phone.
Yeah, we shared a Nokia.
Even,
it had Snake.
that even lessens your case though, because calls dropped like a motherfucker back then.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
I don't know. I think that's exactly what happened. And I think that Felix is right where it's like, yeah, I would love to do that. Actually, that'd be a great technology to sell to athletes who are going out to like a restaurant or a club. Maybe you're doing some Johnny Manziel type activities in the bathroom. Shut down everybody's cell phone when they're around you. You don't end up on TMZ the next day.
Urban Meyer.
That would, there would be like a mystique around celebrities again. We've seen celebrities do too much stuff. You know, we know everything. There has to be some mystery. There has to be some withholding. It's like how Trump's like when Trump is posting every day, people, when you remember things, you smooth everything out. It's why people say an autobiography is just what you choose to remember. Everyone remembers like, oh, he was so funny on Twitter, but they forget the fact that 70% of his posts were like about, lowering capital gains tax, like usual Republican bullshit. And the funny stuff, there'd be a funny thing every week, but there was a lot of stuff in between that. So now that he's just doing press releases, you only get the hits. You only get stuff like John McCain had the longest funeral in history.
Right. I only remember the like, we're going to get you out of prison ASAP. Like that's the shit. When I look back on the Trump presidency, I'm going to remember that week so fondly. I don't remember the stuff. I'm going to remember him like complaining about NBC Nightly News's ratings, like that type of shit. That's the stuff that I miss out of the guy.
But with celebrities, it's the same way. When you see like everything they've ever done, there's like 7 different angles of them doing it. You have a different input on them every day. It just, it's not as cool. And that's we're always making new celebrities because it's like, okay, we did everything with the old one. Let's have like a new guy. But it would be more sustainable if celebrities just had the EMP device. And it would fuck up some people with pacemakers, but there's risks that we accept every day to live our lives.
Yeah, it truly. I think that the good outweighs the bad for sure when it comes to that. Like, yeah, okay, sacrifice 16 people a year so that I don't have to see like John Mayer accidentally like he's grabbing a girl's butt. She said she was 18. He turns out that she's 16. Like I don't need to see all that stuff. Like it makes me feel bad when I get inundated with all the bullshit with the celebrities. There used to be an editorial process when it came to the paparazzi. Now there's no editorial process. It's just like whatever they send us, we're going to post. It's like the old Barstool Sports before Coley took over editing the website.
Oh, no.
Anybody have anything else for Felix? We good? Big T, you got anything?
I think we solved it. We like solved Havana syndrome. Everyone, all those diplomats can like go home or go back to Cuba, whatever they want. That's really up to them. Russia can keep doing its thing, and Cuba, as always, keep on rocking.
Yeah,
keep on
rocking in the quasi-free world.
Does anyone know
who's really free at the end of the day?
Yeah, where do you, if you were to like power rank Cubans for how free they are right now, what are we looking at? Are they a top 25% most free country? Top 50?
It's tough. I mean, like, okay, so they don't have to worry about going to the doctor. They drive very old cars, though. That is the thing about them. Yep. If you wanted Mountain Dew Zero, you would have to have the most juice out of anyone in Cuba.
Yeah.
Like you would have to be the coolest guy in the fucking country to get Mountain Dew Zero. That probably puts him somewhere near the middle.
Yeah, to me that's what it's all about. Like how quickly can you get your hands on a new flavor of Gatorade, and Flamin' Hot Cheetos. And if it's easy, if it's like less than 5-minute chore, then that's a place I could see myself living.
The lemon flavor hot Cheetos.
Yep.
Yeah. Limon.
Yeah, limon. Yeah, I guess it's definitely. Are they French? Is that little Cheeto French?
I assume that's Spanish.
Chester. It's the whitest possible name.
They definitely.
There's no way Chester
for an African animal. Yeah.
I'm not saying
Chester.
Chester could be one of those Argentinians whose grandfather mysteriously showed up from a European country around 1945.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
We saw the Havana syndrome and Chester Cheeto.
Yep.
Fucking impressive.
All right. Go listen to Chapo Trap House. Thank you for joining us, Felix, at Buy Your Logic on Twitter. Go check him out. Thank you. You are now our national security correspondent. So anytime we have another question about something that we're too dumb to understand, we're going to ask you to come back on. Felix is brought to you by our friends over at Roman Swipes. Many guys have tried different ways to last longer, but thinking about baseball doesn't always work. The folks at Roman, an online men's health company, are changing the game with Roman Swipes, the secret to longer lasting sex. Roman Swipes are a clinically proven way to last longer in bed. They're effective, they're easy to use, they're fast acting. They don't require a prescription. Roman can ship swipes to you in discreet, unmarked packaging, and each swipes packet is small enough to hide in your wallet for whenever you need it. Super easy to use. You just take the swipes out of the packet, you swipe it on, let it dry, and you're good to go. That's it. Go to getroman.com/dose. You can get your first month of swipes for just $5 when you choose a monthly plan. That's getroman.com/dose. All right, let's get some voicemails. Big T's fallen asleep on the couch. He's had a long night in Atlanta. The good news is he's resting his eyes. The good news is tonight, Game 6, it's championship time, Big T.
Facts.
I think I'm going to try to make it out to New Jersey. You're going to watch the game on the live stream?
That's my understanding. Yeah,
okay,
right now.
I'm going to try to make it out. I'm going to try to be there to support you.
I appreciate that.
I want you to win. I'm rooting for you. Do you have any hats that would fit me?
I've got some adjustable ones, yeah.
Okay, some adjustable ones. That's probably for the best. I need to snap those things.
I've got a nice one.
Couple notches.
Nice 70s retro.
Okay.
I was bummed, man. When I saw just like Big T upset made me upset.
Yeah.
It killed me inside. But we went to Waffle House after, and it sucked
but
because
Waffle House fucked us, bro.
Waffle House fucked us.
Takeout only at the Waffle House, and we stood there for an hour waiting on our order, and then we had to go eat it in the tiny table at the hotel.
Fucking Fauci.
Yeah, exactly.
Damn right. It's because they didn't want to fucking clean.
What's your order at Waffle House?
All-star special, smothered, covered, and scattered.
Ooh.
Yeah, so last night I just got a couple waffles and some bacon.
He was fed up.
Yeah. I did get a Pib, though. You want to know something in this country? You can't find Mr. Pib anywhere.
It's Pib Extra.
Good.
And it's
good.
It's
good.
bullshit because it's delicious.
No, you don't like Pib?
It's fake Dr. Pepper.
No, it's better.
Yeah, I think it's.
I was about to hang up, but I can't. We're in a podcast. I would have hung up on you in real life.
What's the difference between Mr. Pibb and Pib Extra? They did a rebrand.
Yeah, they just renamed it.
Mr. Pibb versus Pib Extra. Let's see.
I believe I had a Pib Extra. I think that's what it is.
You know what I love doing is seeing the different generic versions of soft drinks that they have at like a Walmart or
Dr. Thunder.
Yeah, Food Line, Dr. Thunder, Mountain Lion is another one. I love those fake names. Can't get enough of them.
Pib isn't fake though.
Pib's not fake. No.
It is. It's a knockoff Dr. Pepper. What do you mean?
Oh, they added cinnamon to it.
Love that.
Which gives it a bolder flavor. That's why Mr. Pibb is now called Pib Extra for extra flavoring.
Or what about Kirkland Light?
What's that?
Kirkland Light beer.
Oh, I haven't had that.
Yeah, it's actually pretty decent.
Is it? They sell good vodka at their liquor
vodka's
stores.
good.
Their vodka, I think, I've heard people say it's like better than Grey Goose. I don't know if that's true or not, but I've heard people say. Many people are saying.
I mean, it's no Coors Light, no matter what.
That's
Kirkland
true.
Light, but
it was for Pib Extra, formerly known as Mr. Pibb, was originally called Peppo to compete against Dr. Pepper. But the name was changed to Mr. Pibb after Dr. Pepper sued Coca-Cola for trademark infringement. Soda Wars.
What about that? You like knockoff?
They discontinued.
No, it's a Coke product. It's the gold standard.
All right, let's get to some voicemails.
Okay.
What's up, guys? Big fan of the show. My name's Pat. I'm from Delaware. So my question is, it's probably going to be a little bit more received by Billy, but my question is, If you could pick 3 animals to combine together to form a new animal, what 3 animals would you take from, and what parts would you take from them to make your new animal? Thanks, guys. Big fan of the pod. Hope you like the question.
All right, that's a great question for Billy.
I do like that question.
We're gonna go polar bear,
But you have to say what parts of the polar bear.
full body, gigantic wings.
Yep. Good call. I was about to roast you. I was ready to pounce on Billy if he took a polar bear body and didn't give it wings so it could also fly.
Gigantic waterproof wings from an aquatic bird that has big wings, so this bear can actually fly.
All right, so maybe like an albatross.
Yeah,
I still don't think that would be strong enough to lift a polar bear.
Gigantic albatross
Okay,
wings.
got it.
Yep. What else? We need a third. Something to wrap it up. Give it something cool.
What about? Sorry, I don't want to tell you how to do your job.
It's definitely his animals, man. You bugging right now.
It's got a tail or something with utility.
Mm-hmm. What about like a kangaroo's legs for jumping?
I was
Giant
thinking
kangaroo.
gills.
No, I was thinking gills, but polar bear are pretty good swimmers.
Poison.
Oh, you know what? Whale's lungs.
Okay, good call. So it can dive
Yeah.
real deep.
Just
Like
an
it.
all-terrain vehicle.
Yeah. I like-
Dominate land, underwater, in the sky.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Ultimate predator.
I don't think any of us can really touch that. We can try. I was gonna say I would combine a puma, a mountain lion, and a cougar.
Same thing.
Yeah, all into one.
I would combine a orca. Right, it would be an orca. Definitely would have wings that could carry it, so they could fly in the sky. And then phalanges, hands, like real hands, like human hands, but like orca size. That would be probably the most amazing animal ever.
I like that. That's smart to include a human part, like a human hand or a human brain in one of these animals could be pretty cool.
Actually, I might have to change mine up. So I know I said whale lungs.
This fucking guy.
What if it was like orca body, but instead of fins, on the side fins, polar bear legs and arms, right? Add the polar bear fur around, but sort of bulk of the body, orca head and tail, and then gigantic wings.
Oh, so it's got wings and polar bear arms. Don't you think that if it didn't have the fins, it couldn't swim that well though?
Yeah, but if it had the back tail.
Okay, the dorsal.
The dorsal.
No, wait, dorsal is on top, right?
Yeah, you still have the dorsal.
And you've got the tail. Too.
Yeah,
Okay.
and then polar bear, that's decent for swimming.
Got the claws. Yeah.
That's pretty dope.
All right, good choice. Big T.
I'm going just with 2 animals because I find 3 to be superfluous. This is all to scale. You can either scale one down or the other up. I don't care, but I want the head of a tiger on the body of a bald eagle.
That's pretty cool.
I like it.
I like that. Yeah.
Pretty on par or on brand for you too. The bald eagle.
Yeah, that was the first. That was always going to be in there.
Yeah. In the heart of Trump.
Good question. Thank you.
Okay, ready for the
This
next
is Pat from Delaware. Thank you, Pat.
Thank you, Pat. Okay.
Hey, what's going on, Macrodosing? This is Phil from Indiana. I got 2 would you rathers. First, would you rather have it be public knowledge that JFK or 9/11 was an inside job? Then second, would you rather have it be public knowledge that the U.S. government has been in contact with aliens or that the moon landings have all been false? I'll sit back and listen. Have a good one.
Okay, good questions.
JFK,
what was the first
aliens.
one?
JFK or 9/11? Which
as an inside job.
I think they're saying which would you rather have
known that was an inside job.
publicly
Gotcha.
publicly
Publicly
disclosed that it was an inside job or that the government was behind the assassination? Which, by the way, Biden just extended the classification on all the JFK files because there hasn't been enough time to disclose, or excuse me, to redact the names of certain entities that would be in the interest of national security to remain hidden. It's been 70 7 years.
Isn't everyone dead?
That just still means they're up to tricks.
It does mean, yep, they're still at it.
Hang on. How long ago you think JFK got shot?
It was 19. I'm bad at math.
70 years.
1963, right? November 1963.
So it's been like
that's about
58.
Sorry.
Close. No, he was close.
I
we
would-
weren't that far
I was
off.
off by 20.
I was off by 20. Yeah, Big T's right. That's
Like
It's not
12.
58.
bad. I know when it
12.
was. I'm just bad at math. It was November 11th,
Yeah.
1963.
Oh, it's like coming up.
Yeah, Darren Reveau will let you know.
Oh.
I'm sure he will. I would rather know the JFK thing.
Yeah.
I think if we knew that like George W. Bush personally planted thermite in the Twin Towers, society as a whole,
I think it would crumble.
It would just crumble.
Yeah.
But that's why the people who believe that, truly believe it, are pussies for not doing anything about it. Because if you truly believe that the government killed like
3,000
people,
and led to an invasion of war.
yeah, and led to a 20-year conflict in Afghanistan, which led to
Nothing.
almost a 20-year conflict in Iraq, which led to ISIS.
Yeah.
And if you actually think that George Bush like planted bombs in those buildings himself, then you're a pussy if you haven't done anything about it.
Well, I bet a bunch of people have. They just gotten locked up.
Probably. And I don't want what I say to be construed as like, do it. What are you gonna do? Stab me? But you know what I'm saying, right? Like I think that people just
Yeah.
like to believe that they know something that everybody else doesn't know. But I still remain convinced that Lee Harvey Oswald did not act alone. That's one conspiracy I truly believe in.
Who would he have acted with?
A lot of people, the CIA, the mafia was involved. Russia was involved.
We need to do it.
A lot of players. George H.W. Bush was a little bit closer to that whole thing than a lot of people know about. And then obviously like Ted
Well, I feel
Cruz's
like-
dad personally shot him.
I feel like if JFK was fake, like 9/11 I think it's like
If one,
If
it's like
one,
what came
both.
first.
Yeah.
No, see,
There's some threads that you could pull if
Yeah.
you knew what was
Yo.
really going on behind JFK.
Yo, that was probably the wildest shit that Trump said, dog. He said a lot of wild shit, but he said Ted Cruz's pops killed JFK, man. Like that's wild. dog.
He strongly implied that his dad killed him. I don't think he ever
he also
directly said it.
Zodiac killer.
yeah, he's also the Zodiac killer, so
Strong-
apple doesn't fall far.
Strongly implied that Ted Cruz's dad was involved in the assassination of JFK. Who knows?
I think if it came out that 9/11 was an inside job, I think America as we know it would just cease to exist.
Yeah.
When y'all say that, like, what would happen?
I think that's the one thing as a country that people can't politicize, or
That's
one
not
of
true.
the
No, I've personally seen
people politicize
like
it.
9/11, and then there's like a bunch of American flags, and there's a counter protest about what about all the Iraqis who died?
Okay, yeah, but
I think
It's-
that's
it's
not
this-
necessarily political. Those are just
Yeah, that's
no,
not-
but they
it could
like
be facts.
they end up getting political and just like anti each other, even though it's like no, both are
Both
true.
are-
We should just
yeah. I guess what I mean is like it's not like the right or the left.
I
But
think
I'm saying it comes out, obviously everybody is pissed about it. And then what happens?
I think that at some point the military would be forced to recognize the fact that there are certain elements of the United States government that actually broke all the laws,
Mhm.
committed mass murder, and there would be some serious chain of command issues.
Yeah.
A lot of ex-military, a lot of law enforcement, the militias that we keep hearing about, they would they would do some shit.
Yeah, there was something I saw some.
There'd be
video
I actually think
online.
people would take to the streets. I think that people would
Well, yeah,
protest
for sure.
from the left and from the right in mass, and they would shut down
Well, the thing is,
cities.
it would take so long for us to figure out what was fact and what was.
Oh, there would be
false.
tons of misinformation. Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
think about how we dealt with the pandemic. If
Nobody cares about facts.
yeah, like it would be like, oh no, this is true. No, it's not. This is like it would.
But I think in this scenario, it's like you are laid out, and it's like this is actually what happened in this perfect world. We have the exact facts, and you can't do anything about
But I
them.
don't think that would be a situation. Like how even if there was a video of, let's say, like White House recordings
Of George Bush putting
yeah, then I feel like half the country would be like, it's there. It was faked. Or the recording was faked. It's not a real recording.
yeah, I don't know.
Like, how would we be able to verify that?
Yeah.
if in this scenario, it like
If
if
he
Jen
admitted
Psaki or what's her name, Jen Psaki, the White House press secretary,
Yeah.
came out and was like, "Hey guys, 9/11 was an inside job. Like,
I don't think half
you
the
don't think
country
people would believe her?
either.
But why would you not? Why would you not believe the government coming out and being like, "We fucked up"?
I think that if there was sufficient proof that it happened, I think
Like,
people would
think
freak
about
out.
pretty pissed off.
Senator Tom Cotton's going, there's a virus in China that's killing people at a high rate and spreading, and then he was like the first person.
But
in the
9/11
USA
happened already.
Right. Well, COVID happened, and like we still didn't get to the bottom of it when that happened.
Right, but there's been such a one. We're not. 9/11 isn't like currently happening anymore.
But it would be a current event if it were to.
Well,
be found
100%
out.
it would.
But with Cotton being like, there's a virus that's spreading in in China.
That's like not foreshadowing.
Are we gonna like take to the streets against China? Like,
Well, he was
this
saying
is like
that
somebody
they needed-
admitting a
Well,
crime.
he was saying that we needed to like start doing severe lockdowns,
Mhm.
like shut down the border and everything.
Mm-hmm.
I just
And
think
I don't know what that has to do with the
Yeah.
9/11 stuff though.
Well, like how we
not well correlated.
know how we react to something like information coming, and we don't know if it's true or not.
but
right. That's what I'm saying.
That's what I'm saying.
If it came from like an undeniable source, if George W. Bush was like, "Yeah, I did this,"
But
Yeah, sorry,
is there
guys.
an undeniable source?
George W.
George
Bush would be a
Yeah.
pretty big
if
one.
he was like, "Here's what I did," and Dick Cheney's like, "Yeah, we did
But
that."
hypothetically, if he got to that point, he'd probably be
Shot
like,
dead or something.
or snuffed or made to say, "Oh, that was a
Dick
fake.
Cheney would shoot
that
his
was
face
a deep
off.
fake."
Don't throw Halliburton under the
I
bus.
don't know.
Dick Cheney would take him hunting.
Yeah. That. By the way, I finished my rewatch of The Sopranos recently, and the scene where Junior Soprano is penning a letter to Dick Cheney, who was vice president at the time, being like, "As a person who has accidentally shot somebody close to you, I hope you can relate to the journey that I've been on and to all the hardships that I've faced." He thought that Dick Cheney was going to pardon him and get him out of jail. It was great. It was a very funny scene.
I just think since 9/11 is so far in the past compared to COVID, and with that Tom Cotton's thing, it was like something that hasn't happened yet to America. We don't know, what COVID is going to have the impact on us and as a government and a country in 20 years. But we know what 9/11 is.
Now, if Fauci came out and was like, "Yeah, I personally I flew
Created
over
COVID
America
alarm.
in a crop duster and just sprayed COVID on all you guys," then I think you'd see a similar type of response from people. I don't.
Right.
I'm pretty sure all those COVID stands that or all the Fauci stands that Big T was talking about earlier would probably turn on him.
They are COVID stands. They root for the virus.
Who's rooting for the virus?
People who want to keep shit shut down.
Who?
All right, let's
Those
go to
in
the next
charge.
voicemail.
Okay. And then what was the other? The other hypothetical was the moon landing
Oh,
or
Moon landing
Aliens.
or
aliens.
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 Yeah, aliens.
That seems more
I
important.
hope aliens
Yes.
are real. I
Yeah.
think that'd be
Moon
cool.
landing finding out the moon landing was like actually fake would suck.
That would suck, but I think aliens would be more important.
Yeah, I wouldn't really care that much. I wouldn't even care that much.
I know, but it just would shatter your core as like an American. Like, damn, like we're not actually
No.
that sick.
No, wouldn't care.
Yeah, I don't think it would affect me that.
No.
I would feel like a dumbass for talking so much shit to moon landing truthers in the past. I'd be like,
Yeah.
I have a lot of dumb people I need to apologize to. That's a blow to my ego.
Okay, here is the last voicemail.
Hey, what's up? My name's Max from Minnesota. Sorry, last voicemail was a little odd. I had to put my phone down. Minnesota's a no-hand state for a cell phone. But I had a couple questions for y'all. Just want to know, what do you guys think is the sliding doors moment that had you end up where you are? You know, not even specifically at Barstool, but just kind of in life in general. For example, Billy, you know, obviously graduated college, but took a job at Barstool. You know, what made you do that? Or Arian, you know, pursue a football career. Secondly, loved the interview with Rick Ness. I think you guys should have more people on that specialize in the field or the topic you guys are talking about. That was awesome. You know, I'm always wondering those same questions. I love that you guys ask those for the, you know, general people like us. And we kind of get to hear a little inside scoop on that. Everyone's beautiful. Arian, you're gorgeous. And Maddie, you're also gorgeous. Have a good one. Thanks.
Good voicemail.
I fucking love that guy. I fucking
Max
love
from
that guy.
Minnesota.
Max from
Shout out
Minnesota.
to, shout out to Max from Minnesota.
He left a second
Hey.
voicemail and he had to hang up in the halfway through because he was like,
That's so,
Hey, tell him to leave an Addy, and I'm gonna buy him one of them little car phone mounts because he said he couldn't. I'm gonna get it's on me. Tell him reach out to him and see if he'll do that. I'm gonna
Okay.
get him a phone mount, bro.
yeah, he there was like a voicemail before it and it was like, oh, And it was like the cops coming.
They're taking away his liberty. Man can't use a cell phone with his hands anymore in this country.
Man can't smoke cigarettes in a infant ward. Ridiculous.
It's absolutely absurd. This country was built on tobacco.
100%.
Who wants to go first on this one? Sliding door moment.
I know mine.
I'm not sure. Sliding door moment, like to where I'm at right now.
Yeah.
I think the sliding door moment to where I'm at right now would be growing up was really poor, and the first time I played football, I was just like leaps and bounds better than everybody around me, and it was very prevalent that this is what I liked to do, and this is what I was probably really good at, and so that was a moment. It was like probably when I first stepped on the field and got the ball in my hands and was just like outmaneuvering everybody. And they were older than me because I was 6 years old and I was playing with all the 7-year-olds. There was no 6-year-olds. And so they were older. And that's not a wide age gap when you get older, but like when you're young, it's like a big gap.
Yep.
And so that was my moment. It was kind of a culmination of me being like really broke and then me being that much better than everybody around me.
Knowing that you got it. That you're a little bit different.
I had the sauce. I had the sauce as a kid.
Billy?
I had to look up what sliding doors moment
Me
meant.
too. I'd never heard that.
Wow.
Seemingly inconsequential moments that nonetheless alter the trajectory of future events.
Right. So I haven't seen the movie, but I've seen the commercial a lot. And so I know what the movie is about. Sliding Doors is a movie of, I think it was a woman who was trying to get onto a subway train. She gets on the subway train. She goes home, finds her husband cheating on her. Her life goes haywire. In another instance, she doesn't get on that train. The door slides shut in front of her as she's trying to get on. She never finds out that her husband's cheating on her. Her life takes entirely different paths just based on the fact that she was 1 second earlier for that train and got on it. That's what the sliding door moment is.
Damn.
Like, is there a moment in your life where you did something that set the rest of the trajectory down a certain line?
Well, yeah, I got a big one. So my whole life, never really was, ever thought I'd be in any sort of media, comedy. What would you say we do here?
That's a perfect way to put it.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do we do here?
I've never thought I'd ever be, sort of crazy to say this, but sort of.
Say the F word.
Well-known figure.
Just say famous.
Oh, Billy famous.
Uh-huh.
Dude, I mean, it's like
He is. People are dressing up for Halloween.
I mean, honestly, I'm not the type of person to sort of be like, I'm sick. People are dressing up. I mean, it kind of freaks me out, to be honest. But basically, I was fan of Part of My Take. Saw a tweet from Hank saying we're looking for interns. Sent my resume because I was preparing a resume just for internships after high school, like to get a summer internship somewhere. Sent it as just because I was sending it literally everywhere, and I was like, oh shit, like Part of My Takes. So I'll send it. Then ended up getting offered to go in for an interview. I literally just went because I wanted to meet Big Cat PFT and Hank and get a picture with them and leave. But then I actually ended up getting the job, and that was
this is the cutest shit I've ever heard.
No, but then it was kind of like I was 18 and I was just gonna work construction that summer, and all my buddies were like, I was like, dude, it's like I got this job, bro, and they were all like, dude, you can't work because I was gonna work construction with all my friends like last summer before we all went to college, so it was like supposed to be like our like last summer because we worked construction like 4 years like previous, and it was like a time, and I was like, guys, like I don't know what to do, like I want to work with you guys one more summer, and they're like, no man, like you have to go work for Part of My Take.
That's Goodwill Hunting. That's a plot of good Bill Hunting. It's like, no, Billy, I can't sit around and let you do this to your career. You got to go, man.
I hope one day I knock on the door and you don't answer.
I didn't even know what the internship was even gonna be. I just showed up and I had no idea what the job description, like what I was gonna do here.
Still don't.
Still don't.
Y'all should make a mini docu-series about this moment. This is a big moment for Barstool.
Well, the thing is, I just sort of, I'm just riding the wave right now. I really don't know where this is going. I don't know, I have no idea what's going on. I'm just
that's a pretty big sliding doors moment.
Yeah.
Power move by PFT bringing you on this pod too. Kind of giving you your own like He's trying to give you wings.
That's
brother.
another sliding
Beautiful.
doors moment, because Billy wasn't supposed to be on this pod
Right.
at first. It was going to be me, Avery, Arian, Big T, and then I was talking to the guys on Part of My Take before we recorded our first episode. Billy heard about it and was like, "Wait, can I be on it?" And so then I was like, "Yeah, that's perfect, great." And Billy's been an integral part of this podcast. It wouldn't be the same without him.
It wouldn't be the same
It
without you,
wouldn't.
man.
So that's another good sliding doors moment. Also, the real sliding doors moment about Billy's application process was he included a link to his high school football highlights on his resume.
Of course he did, bro.
And so that's what made him stand out. And we were like, we like this kid. But he didn't do it to like try to flex or anything. He was just like,
Genuine.
And also,
Yeah.
this is pretty sweet. Like, I played high school football and it was pretty good.
I did spice up my resume for.
I'm sure there were hundreds of lies on the resume. Hundreds
A lot of
of them.
facts. A lot of facts.
That's a good sliding doors moment. I would say mine would be in college. I didn't really know what I was going to do. Didn't really have any drive in one way or another. I did like writing. I knew that, but I wasn't focused on it or anything. I thought that I had some comedic writing ability, but it wasn't ever an avenue that I really focused on or tried my hand at. And I was, as usual, taking my time signing up for next semester's classes because I'm a procrastinator and I'm lazy and I had no drive whatsoever in college. And after the deadline was already overdue for me to sign up for classes, a friend told me about a comedy writing class at James Madison taught by Inman Majors. And I tried to apply for his class. It was filled. Didn't get in. Sent him an email. Explained why I wanted to take the class. I was like, if there's any way that you could find one more seat for me in this class, I would absolutely love it. I would dedicate myself to it. It's something that the first class that I'm genuinely excited to take in college. He wrote me back, said that he would make room for me in the class. I got in. I took it very seriously. He's an awesome teacher, very funny guy, great dude. And the assignments in that class were like, okay, you have to write a comedy paper about this, and this. And it gave me kind of a direction. It gave me the drive. And through his help and feedback, it helped me kind of figure out the fact that I wanted to do that as a living, if it was possible. And then after that point, I teamed up with some of my old friends from high school and college, Pat, Will, Wes, and Mark, and Colin, all the Hard Factor guys, started writing comedy with them. And together, the group of us, we got kind of like honed the craft a little bit, I want to say. Some of it was really bad. Some of it was good. But that whole year really set my life on this trajectory. Whereas if I didn't get into that class, I have no idea what I would be doing I'd probably, I don't know, be selling software still or selling used dogs or who knows, maybe teaching PE. I thought I wanted to teach PE. That was what, going to my junior year of college, I was like, I think that's what I want to do. That seems pretty sweet. So yeah, things turned different from that point.
Now you're getting 90 racks an episode, man. Good on you.
90 racks. That's right. Anybody else?
I have one. I found Barstool, or I found, like any of this. I was on Facebook scrolling, like, you know how when you watch videos, like just suggested ones come up after, and one of the suggested ones was a pizza review randomly, and I was like, oh, this is kind of funny. I was like, why is this guy like making me laugh about eating a random slice of pizza?
That's not one bite. He took several.
He took more than one bite. And so then I didn't even know who Dave was or Barstool was. I thought it was just some guy on Facebook eating pizza every day. And then I found out that he, runs this place called Barstool. Then I really got into, that was like 2017. Then I really got into watching like the old school Barstool videos, like the Renaissance Fair, like the combines, all of those. Got obsessed with KFC and Part of My Take.
You're still so young.
I know.
Like 2017 was your sliding doors moment.
I know. And then I like got obsessed with them. I was like, how do I work here? How do people actually work here? And you guys were still in HQ too, and there was like 20 people that worked there. And then I saw Dave's blog that was like the Uncle Sam one about viceroys. And I changed my major from finance so I could be a better candidate for the viceroy program.
Mm-hmm.
Then got in and randomly got selected. I still don't know how, but I just watched Facebook videos for a bit too long one night. And
Keep scrolling on your phones, people.
Yeah, I fell asleep. I like every night. I have to fall asleep with like something playing. I fell asleep to a pizza review like pretty much every night for like 5 months because I was like, these are so funny to me. I watched like every single one.
All right.
That was my sliding door moment.
I fall asleep to Avatar.
Big T?
I guess mine would be the summer of 2016. It was after my freshman year of college. My buddy and I put a video online of a song we wrote. That's when Saturdays Are for the Boys was a big thing. And it was to the tune of Cheerleader by Omi. And Dave saw it and thought it was funny. And we went on the rundown. And then, not to flex, we were on one of the first episodes of Pardon My Take, like one of the first 10 maybe. We came on y'all's show and we wrote another song about Harambe.
Yeah. So really, your sliding doors moment might be like Harambe getting shot.
Harambe did do numbers for us. And so then Dave saw that too. And I just had his phone number from like having him have reached out to me. And when Madeline said the thing about the Viceroys, I saw that also. And I didn't know any better. I just texted Dave. I was like, hey, don't let anybody like interview for that for the University of Tennessee. I want it. And he was like, knowing now, he didn't give a shit. He was like, fine, whatever. And so I did that and then got an internship here and then have worked here for a couple of years.
All right. You wouldn't say that your sliding doors moment is switching your allegiance between Georgia and Tennessee?
No, because I was never a UGA fan. I had a teacher in kindergarten who made her entire class bark like dogs. And my mom, I guess at some point, bought me a UGA hoodie that I wore when I was 6. And then you guys have somehow... I have to delete Instagram comments now because people are, oh, fucking BT. Fucking...
You don't have to delete them.
You can just leave
No,
them there.
yeah, I do. No, that's my space. You don't get to invade my space like that.
All right, Avery, what you got? You got a sliding doors moment?
Yeah, I would say COVID was my sliding doors moment because when COVID happened, I was doing some things for Barstool, but not much. I was a viceroy, and then I graduated in March, which was early. And then 2 months later, or 3, however many months it was until Sirius came back. When Sirius came back, Mikey, our audio guy, was like, we need people to produce because we're low. And I live close, so I came in. It was literally me. It was me, Colby, and Za in the booth. And then, the Yak and the Dozen, and that was really it on Sirius. So I got close with all you guys. And then I met Caleb, and I started doing stuff for him. And then I met you. I mean, the dynamic of the Dozen actually changed very fast when I started doing it. Mm-hmm. And then Sirius ended. And literally the day Sirius ended, you were like, I got this idea for this podcast. We should do it. Mm-hmm. So that was, COVID was my sliding doors moment for sure. Crazy. Yep.
Arian, do you have one?
Oh, yeah. His was just
football.
You weren't listening, man.
He had the sauce moment.
Arian,
I had the sauce. What's that?
This guy was just a generational talent. Like, come on.
Yeah, we're talking about like working here. He was running the football.
At the Braves game last night, somebody said to me that they were a big fan of macrodosing, and I said thank you. And one of his friends was, they started talking about the show, and he goes, "Bro, you should have heard Arian." They asked him like what his favorite thing he ever did on the football field was, and he looked at him. He said, "Made $40 million."
That's a great answer.
It is a great answer. It's the truth, though.
We got anything else?
No.
We good?
Buy tickets to the live show.
Tickets to the live show, November 16th.
Yep. Lucky Jacks.
It's gonna be lit.
It's gonna be very lit.
I might be selling some NFT sketches
at the show.
Then they're not
Maybe.
NFTs. You're just selling a piece of paper.
Drawings.
I might just auction them off.
If you call them NFTs, then I think that adds value to them.
Big T gonna be selling you sketches, coloring sketches.
No, that's a FT. That's a fungible token. Billy's going to be the first to ever sell FTs.
Billy FT.
Yeah.
Billy FT.
All right. Well, love you guys. Thank you for tuning in. Thank everybody here for joining us. Thanks to Felix for joining us. Thanks to Tyler. And thanks to Hendon for also hopping on. We will see you guys hopefully Thursday for Macrodosing, Nanodosing. Love you guys.